Flame suit, French letter, and my girl bad. Gatekeeper says open, I ain't coming back. 15-minute TED Talk collecting 40 rags. 1 milli paid in tax, bitch, do the math.
Do the math, bitch, do the math. 1 milli paid in tax, bitch, do the math. Do the math, bitch, do the math. 1 milli paid in tax, bitch, do the math.
Did the math, I'm baby Johnny Cash. My girl gon' throw it back, that my life is cinemax. Holy hell, this max. I make hits and you make trash. I'm on vacay, do not ask. Poolside eating Apple Jacks. Shut up, bitch. Shut up. Big deal like TJ Maxx. Pop some cataracts. Watch a night attack. Nick Cage, how I act. Heavily dislike tax. Got some aces on my feet, never wear a mask. I'm in the cut like a wound. Wake your ass up, make some room. And my girl, coming soon. I don't fuck with honeymoons. Throw some money on my tune. Finesse too hard, I'm feeling Girls love me, they want a spoon. Let me finish, I'll resume. Flame suit, French letter, and my girl bad. Gatekeeper says open, I ain't coming back. 15-minute TED Talk collecting 40 rags. 1 milli paid in tax, bitch, do the math.
Do the math, do the math. 1 milli paid in tax, bitch, do the math.
Do the math, bitch, do the math. 1 milli paid in tax, bitch, do the math. I just curved cameo, she said I'm a Romeo. She gon' split me up and lit me up like Oreo. First global book deal, sell that shit to Indigo. Getting money since I was an itty bitty embryo. Save my money when I die for the fan. Always make a sale, catamaran. Shawty tryna play some games where I don't play Catan. I'm a plug, she an outlet, cut up Mr. Middleman. Yeah, I got ass that she wants to come see. Yeah, only speak the truth, hyperbole. Goddamn, I sound good on this beach. Extraterrestrial ET, flame suit, French letter, and my girl bad. Gatekeeper says open, I ain't coming back. 15-minute TED Talk collecting 40 rags. 1 milli paid in tax, bitch, do the math.
Do the math, bitch, do the math. 1 milli paid in tax, bitch, do the math. Do the math, bitch, do the math. 1 milli paid in tax, bitch, do the math. Do the math, bitch, do the math.
But they always tryna lowball. I done picked it up just like a phone call. Wonder why I'm hot, got a cold heart. And I'm on it, go, 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 go. Whoa, 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 whoa. I go paint the picture like Mozart. I've been on my go talk. Lately how I'm coming, I got no flaws. They just wanna stop me, but I won't pause. The flow like the go wall. I gon' make that money, make the dough fall. Yeah, I'm gon' shake it up and make the snow fall. Yeah, work with me and we gon' have to both ball. I'm trying with the Rari like a go-kart. Yeah, you know I'm going up. I feel like Giannis. Hold up, let's be honest. Need the bucks and all the comments. Perfect timing when I'm shining. They be mad that I'm still grinding. When they switch and I'm still solid. Getting paper like it's college. Or like on a pilot. Shorty mad cause now I'm popping. Ain't no way that I can stop it. Spread my wings and now I'm flying. Hit the slide and now I'm gliding. They so shocked that I didn't find it. How they not know what the time is when I've been on my go talk. Rappers want my feature but they always tryna lowball. I done picked it up just like a phone call. Wonder why I'm hot, got a cold heart. And I'm on it, go, 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 go. Whoa, 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 whoa. I go paint the picture like Mozart. I've been on my go talk. Lately how I'm coming, I got no flaws. They just wanna stop me, but I won't pause. The flow like the go wall. I know that they wanted what I got, let them rock, yeah. I tell them go get it when it's hot, don't stop, yeah. I've been down 10 since the drop. I've been heating up, I'm getting hot, got a pot, yeah. I'm gonna be a millionaire, I've been going silly, yeah. Top won't be the ceiling for me, thought that I'ma see you there. Bet that I went got the bag, it's alright, I never care. I'm gonna get the last laugh, you gon' see me everywhere. They just mad to see that I could really be about it. All these rats and these racks, they see I be stylish. Started at the bottom, now the boy is on the rising. Haters going silent, ain't no one can stop it. I've been on my go talk. Rappers want my feature, but they always tryna lowball. I done picked it up just like a phone call. Wonder why I'm hot, got a cold heart. And I'm on it, go, 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 go. Whoa, 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 whoa. I go paint the picture like Mozart. I've been on my go talk. Lately how I'm coming, I got no flaws. They just wanna stop me, but I won't pause. The flow like the go wall.
Wait, I just had my first pink. I ain't have a job in 2 years, it was way harder than you think. Never thought I'd be the one to make it happen, I thought I would just sing. Funny how things change, not a girl I really wanna link. Wait, everything 180, huh? Next stop a Mercedes, huh? Why my ego inflated? Cause old haters outdated. And to all the girls I dated, I'm really sorry I made it. And we can't even have a conversation anymore, my number's not the same. Damn, I'm on the same bullshit like a matador. And the VA sound like a dinosaur. Pretty little bitch that I ignore. She wanna get nailed to a 2x4. Everybody say they wanna see me score, but these days I don't really know no more. Hey, motherfuckers really hurt my core. If I keep going cool, they gon' pull my core. I'm on the same bullshit like a matador. And the VA sound like a dinosaur. Pretty little bitch that I ignore. She wanna get nailed to a 2x4. Everybody say they wanna see me score, but these days I don't really know no more. Hey, motherfuckers really hurt my core. If I keep going cool, they gon' pull my cord. And that's why I don't really got no friends. Circle same size since I don't know when. And I don't really know who want me to win, but that's the result of the city I'm in. I work like a slave, trying to get everyone paid. I want everything like Tim. What do I say? I just wanna pull up in the rain, make a car dash like Kim. Smile on her face, she can't wait till I get paid. I'ma take her far for her sins. Everything changed, it's a bigger picture in the frame. I ain't never looked back since. Said she want a steak, we already went to every place, so I had to take her out the crib. Incredible taste, but it won't last longer than a date. Because I'm on the same bullshit like a matador. And the VA sound like a dinosaur. Pretty little bitch that I ignore. She wanna get nailed to a 2x4. Everybody say they wanna see me score, but these days I don't really know no more. Hey, motherfuckers really hurt my core. If I keep going cool, they gon' pull my cord. I'm on the same bullshit like a matador. And the VA sound like a dinosaur. Pretty little bitch that I ignore. She wanna get nailed to a 2x4. Everybody say they wanna see me score, but these days I don't really know no more. Hey, motherfuckers really hurt my core. If I keep going cool, they gon' pull my cord.
Probably much later tonight.
I can't take it anymore. My mind's about to go to war. I need someone to save me from myself, to hear me cry when I call out for help. I blame it on the voices that are in my head, wondering if they'll ever be put to bed. Feels like I am close to reaching my wit's end, holding out, but I'm about to blow it up like a volcano. Like a volcano. Blow it up like a volcano. What you do, what you do, what you do to me? Can't you see what it means when you set me free? What you do, what you do, what you do to me? Can't you see what it means when you set me free? Another day to lose control. There's a fire in my bones. My sight gets blurry, pushing back the tears. Should take a leap of faith and face my fear. I blame it on the voices that are in my head, wondering if they'll ever be put to bed. Feels like I am close to reaching my wit's end, holding out, but I'm about to blow it up like a volcano. Like a volcano. Blow it up like a volcano. What you do, what you do, what you do to me? Can't you see what it means when you set me free? What you do, what you do, what you do to me? Can't you see what it means when you set me free? Blow it up like a volcano.
Let's see. I'm going to try to... Can you guys hear it now? Yeah, there we go. You guys got it. All right. I'm so sorry. I didn't expect that. I thought it was working. I didn't see the levels. All right, it's working now. I just adjusted it. Okay, again, I guess I'll start from the beginning then. Welcome to Brian Mansell Show. I'm your host, Brian Mansell. I've been a sports media professional now for over a couple years in the industry, and I've got a podcast, vodcast, whatever you want to call it. That's what it is, a podcast, vodcast, whatever it is. And we talk about all the latest stuff going on in sports. We'll talk about the most popular stuff, which will be football, basketball, baseball, sometimes hockey. But we also like to give attention to other sports. We'll talk about lacrosse a bit today. We'll talk a little bit about golf. We'll talk about a couple other things as well. Thank you so much, B. Hannon, for shouting that out about the no volume. I really appreciate it. Helped me correct an issue there. So we talk about pretty much a little bit of everything. I feel like as sports as a whole needs to be recognized, not just one thing. So we're going to talk about everything, every little thing going on, but we'll do a highlight of those and focus more on the main topics. That's how I kind of want to cover it. But today, Thursday Night Football preview, Ravens, Bengals. This one will be at M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore. Tonight, I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure if I'm going to do either a basketball stream or I'm going to do a football stream. I'm not sure what people would preference. I've only done one basketball stream this year since the season started. I've done many NFL streams because football has been my main sport for the longest time. But I've wanted to do basketball streams again and maybe do some hockey as well at some point. So we'll see. We'll see what it ends up coming down to. I'll let you guys decide that. Later on as well, we're going to talk about Watson getting a season-ending shoulder surgery. Correction. He had a rare fracture in part of his shoulder that really doesn't often happen. I think only 5% of shoulder fractures affect this specific bone. And apparently it's one that helps with the rotation coming up, which is why he's having such an issue. So he's getting surgery. So we'll see if we feel that if the Cleveland Browns still have a chance to make the playoffs, even though they won't have their starting quarterback. MLB Awards. There have been awards going on around all week. We've been finding out last couple weeks about some awards coming out to the MLB players, ending today with the announcement of the MVPs. That will be the last vote, and then that'll be it for MLB Awards. We'll discuss about the final results and how we feel about it. Do we think they were the right decisions, the wrong decisions? Where do we stand on that? And to close out, we're going to do reactions to a couple of NBA games that were in action last night. They had a full slate of games, about 9 to 10 games. We're going to go through only a couple of them that I felt were really competitive or tight. Again, I know the outcomes to all the games. I just didn't watch the games. So at that rate, we'll just go over why things went the way they did and the way the setup was. So that's how we're going to close out. It's a couple reactions to a few of the highlights that I saw from yesterday's action. But again, thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate it. We are one follower away from hitting 20 followers here on Twitch. If you haven't followed already, please consider following. It goes a long way in helping the channel grow and get more exposure here on Twitch. And if you are seeing this on YouTube, please consider subscribing to the channel. We have videos coming out very soon of some cool content we want to integrate into different realms. So maybe some reaction videos, live reactions to news coming out like immediately after news breaks, instant reactions. We'll try to do maybe a couple sketches. There's just a bunch of things I'm juggling around. Unfortunately, that imperialism video I recorded wasn't working, and my editing service is not working. Clipchamp. I don't know if you guys know what that is. Microsoft Clipchamp. It's a very affordable option I try to use to edit YouTube videos, but unfortunately, it is completely crapping out on me. So I'm at a point where I'm just going to have to probably do live streaming. I'm going to have to legitimately stream the Imperialism series here on YouTube and on Twitch. That's going to be absolutely insane, but we're going to try to schedule that at some point. My plan is to do it on a weekend. This way, it's a weekend stream. It's not like something that's happened during the week that impedes on the Brian Mansell show. This would be completely different. That's the plan. But enough about the plans here. Let's get right into the discussion and start with our Thursday Night Football preview. So let's talk about what's going on Thursday Night Football tonight. First off, Ravens Bengals in Baltimore. Baltimore's a weird team. Baltimore and Cincy are both weird teams. I think Baltimore is still a dominant team, a very good team, that'll probably be a Super Bowl favorite this year. They'll probably go to the Super Bowl. You know, Bill Parcells said it best. He said, the best teams, you won't know who's a good or bad team until Thanksgiving. Once you hit Thanksgiving, you know exactly who you're dealing with. And that's a really good quote that's always been truthful. Like, your next week we'll know for sure. But this week, Bengals, Baltimore tonight, this is just going to be a tough, hard-fought game. Bengals are 5-4, Ravens are 7-3. This Ravens can afford a loss here, but you kind of don't want to lose this either, because the Bengals are a better team than when they faced them the first time. The first time they faced Cincinnati, it didn't go well. I mean, they were able to handle them. And there wasn't much struggle. Last time it was a 3-point victory for Baltimore. But this time around, Cincy's a little different. You've got a healthy Joe Burrow, who's coming off a rough loss to the Texans. 5-4, you're trying to fight for wild card spot. You need a big win here. In order to secure that big win, you need a strong performance from your quarterback. Well, you can't rely everything on the quarterback, though, because there are injuries that do affect things. So let's talk about what's happening with Cincinnati's injuries, because that has been the big storyline going into this game. First off, Sam Hubbard, defensive end, one of their good pass rushers, he is out for tonight. He has an ankle injury. That's going to sideline him against Baltimore. So that means the backup is going to have to come in. And the backup to Hubbard would be Cam Sample. So Cam Sample will be getting some reps there tonight as the starting defensive end on the left side. Andre Yoshivas, the rookie from Princeton, his knee injury has resulted in an injury designation of out for tonight. He's not going to play against Baltimore. He is done for the night. Yoshivas has been a quietly good option for them. So for Cincinnati, they're not going to have anybody in their wide receiver 2 spot for tonight. So no Yoshivas, and I'm about to get to this person, but T. Higgins as well. His hamstring injury was severe enough that he's going to miss tonight's game against Baltimore, which is not good. All this information comes from Ben Baby of ESPN.com. This is not exactly something you want to see. So they don't have a legitimate wide receiver 2. And they still don't have Charlie Jones, who's sitting on IR. In fact, Tyler Boyd will likely have to fill the wide receiver 2 spot tonight, and that forces Trenton Irwin to come into the 3 spot. Unless they have a plan for him to sit at 2 and Boyd to sit at 3. But those are all they have at receivers. They have nobody else. Only 3 healthy receivers active for tonight. The other 3 backups and starters are not able to go. So if even one of those get hurt, they're going to have to play in a 2-2 formation. They're going to have to play in a different personnel. They're going to have to run with 2 receivers and 2 tight ends, which will be Drew Sample and Irv Smith Jr. That's not something you want to do. Now, everybody else on the offensive line is healthy. They're coming into this game. Jamar Chase was battling an injury, but he is good to go, apparently, for today. Same goes for Trey Hendrickson, the pass rusher on the right side for the Bengals. He is healthy enough to go. Originally, earlier this week, they thought he was going to be doubtful to go. He ended up improving better than they thought he would, and he's ready to go for tonight. He won't be 100%, but he's into play. So Cincinnati, a little banged up all the way around, especially in the pass rushing element and in the receiving group, but they are going to make it work and try to beat Baltimore tonight. As for the Ravens, this is what we're dealing with Baltimore. In Baltimore's game tonight, these are the current injuries that we're observing. Trenton Simpson, one of the linebackers for the Ravens, he is out tonight with a concussion. He did not clear the protocol in time. He is not going to be able to make it against the Bengals. Ronnie Stanley, offensive tackle, who was ruled as day-to-day with an injury to his knee, after it actually looked way worse last week in that roll-up we had against the Browns. He's been ruled out for tonight's game. He may be back next week. Marlon Humphrey, the all-pro corner, is doubtful for tonight with his calf injury. This is something to monitor. They've been able to make things work without him as a corner, but let's see if they can continue that trend. Devin Duvernay is another person. He's questionable for tonight. That is still up in the air about his status. I expect him to play, but nothing guaranteed there. And we'll also add to the reports here, Kyle Van Noy is questionable as well for tonight, but he should be good to go. Same for John Simpsons, the guard, and Daryl Worley, the other corner with this hamstring injury. He was a full participant in practice on Tuesday, so I expect him to go. Again, things are yet to be seen. Let's take a look at the depth chart to see what that means and who's filling in where. So with Ronnie Stanley out at left tackle, that means Patrick McCarry will have to start at the left tackle spot. John Simpson's expected to go today in the left guard spot, so Ben Cleveland will not have to fill in. So outside of Stanley being hurt, their offensive line should be good to go with no injuries. Duvernay being questionable doesn't affect them necessarily in the receiving group because they still have Aguilar and Tylan Wallace. And all their 3 starters are healthy. Flowers, Bateman, and Beckham are good to go. Tight end group also healthy. It's just Duvernay. But in the 3-4 defensive group, you are talking about injuries to some guys who are considered like rotational guys. So Worley being a backup to Kyle Hamilton in the safety spot. But what's more interesting to watch is tonight, with Marlon Humphrey being doubtful, that would mean that Rocky Sin is going to have to be the fill-in corner on the right side and working next to Brandon Stevens. Something to monitor. The receiving group, the coverage group could be in some deep trouble today outside of the safeties. Hamilton and Williams are fine. Stevens has been solid this year, but putting Rocky Sin in, there's some questions about how well he could play in a starting role, given the teams he's been with. Talking about the Raiders and the Colts. He's been around a little bit. It's a question of can he use that veteran knowledge to shut down a explosive Bengals receiving group. They are explosive no matter how banged up they are. But everybody else should be healthy, ready to go. So, Odafe Owe, Roquan Smith, Patrick Queen, Jadeveon Clowney, all these guys should be good to go. No problems, no injury designations. Here's where the injury I was talking to Duvernay could be interesting. If he can't go today, he would not be able to, they would need a different returner because Duvernay is their designated punt returner and kick returner. The backup option currently listed is the undrafted rookie Keaton Mitchell, the running back. If he has to go today, who knows how many fumbles they could have, possible turnovers, blown plays. There could be a lot of questions residing around that. So that's something to definitely watch. So that's the full injury report you need to know for this game and what to watch and monitor. Let's move over now into some of the stats involving these teams. Now, both teams have won 4 of their last 5 games, and they are both coming off a loss. Bengals lost last week to Houston in a heartbreaking fashion, losing to the Texans off a last-second game-winning field goal. And for the Ravens, they lose to the Browns in similar fashion. They went down thanks to after a 40-yard field goal by Dustin Hopkins as time expired to secure their victory over the Ravens. So they lost that game to the Browns. Bengals lost theirs to Houston. This time, both teams have a lot on the line here. They both need a big win here. Bengals are right in the thick of the wild card hunt, so a loss today could make them have to play from behind, and they don't want to have to do that. Here's a couple game odds as well to keep an eye on. Now that ESPN has come out with their own betting page, which don't even get me started on why a network should not have a betting thing. They really shouldn't. But I'll go into the numbers that this betting thing that ESPN has, ESPN Bet, this is what they're saying. The spread right now for Baltimore, it's in favor of them with -3.5. The odds are at -105. If you bet Cincinnati at a +3.5, it is -115. The over-under for today is 46.5. Baltimore -115, and not Baltimore. The under is -115. The over is 105 minus. If you're going money line, Baltimore is -185. Cincinnati is 155 positive. So +155. So things to just watch and monitor. I can't really give any prop bets for today, but here's a couple statistical things to know in the game preview for this. So this is where we'll be. So if the Ravens win this game, they're going to sweep the season series against Cincy because they beat them the first time. And that's going to give them a 2.5 game lead over them, the last place Bengals. Bengals are currently sitting in close to last place right now, and they really need to win to stay alive in this divisional hunt. Now, every team in the North has a winning record, and that's what tightened the race is that loss to Houston like we talked about. So, to guys like Lamar Jackson, every game now is a must-win. You don't want to lose any of these games because you're giving opponents too much ground. And it's not just because, this, what they're going into is a division game. This is more than that. This is to hold your division and secure a stronger playoff spot. And you can't afford to lose this game. You just can't. So they're just going to have to treat every game like it's the end of the world if they lose. Now, this is interesting fact about the way the Ravens have done. This is the 4th time in 5 years that Baltimore led its division at the end of Week 10. However, they haven't finished first since 2019. Very interesting to think about. The 4 AFC North teams now play each other this week. So Cleveland is taking on Pittsburgh. Both teams are 6-3. That'll be on Sunday. But the Ravens at 7-3 could fall out of first place if they lose. So if they lose, they're going to fall out of first, and the winner of Pittsburgh and Cleveland will jump to first place. Not the Bengals. The Bengals will be 6-4, so they won't be there. So that's the other interesting thing. Now, this is the 3rd consecutive season we're seeing Cincinnati at 5-4, which pretty much means you're going to see Cincinnati in the playoffs, probably. But again, anything could happen. Injuries could come up. You could have somebody get a season-ending thing. You could have a complete downturn in production. Somebody regresses and you don't see it coming and it just blows you out of the water. I mean, they managed to win the division in 2021 and 2022 and reached 2 AFC title games as well and a Super Bowl in that time frame. So if they lose to Baltimore here, it's going to be another hill they have to climb to try and make it back to the playoffs. Now, with the Bengals, there's some frustration here, and here's how we'll explain their frustration. Burrow had 347 yards passing last week, which is obviously a clear indicator that he's fully healed from whatever injury was nagging him, the calf injury. It was really bothering him early this season. The Bengals' performance was taking a hit from it. It's improved. He's now at a point where he's fully healed. But what killed them was having 2 fourth-quarter interceptions and a drop pass that sank them against Houston, opened the door for Houston to come back and secure their win. Now, with the Bengals, here's the... Well, let's not say Bengals. Let's go to Lamar Jackson, actually. Talk about the accuracy of quarterbacks. Jackson has completed 70% of his passes this season, and with a pass rating of a 98.1. Now, if you combine it with how well he's run the ball this year as well, he's an MVP candidate once again, just like he was in his 2nd season in the league. He hasn't won the award since 2019. If he wins this year, it would be his 2nd award to his name. But because of injuries to both quarterbacks, Jackson and Burrow have actually only faced each other, surprisingly, 4 times. And Baltimore's won 3 of those meetings. So they're 3-1 when Jackson and Burrow have faced off. Jackson threw for 237 and 2 touchdowns when they beat Cincinnati in September. And Burrow passed for 222 and 2 touchdowns with an interception in that matchup. Now, here's some big losses for tonight like we talked about. Bengals aren't going to have T. Higgins, as we spoke about, and they won't have Hubbard. Hubbard, again, was out last weekend, so they're going to have to continue to supplement that issue. And the reason why he's so important to Cincinnati is that it's not his pass rush is so good, it's that he's a phenomenal run stopper. He's good at getting to the running back and plugging up the gaps so that they can't get any yardage. And it happened last week, too. He was really missed. Because if you look at the stats, Devin Singletary, who hasn't really done well this year at all, ran for 150 yards on the Bengals defense. Does not happen like that. Hubbard has been really good at stopping that when they run to his side. Him being hurt and inactive for that game, it opened it up again. And Singletary, who was considered a backup in Houston, got 150 yards. Not a good thing. So keep an eye out. If you're going to be a betting man tonight, keep an eye on any bets they do with Gus Edwards. That would be a guy who would severely benefit. Same with Keaton Mitchell. Anything with them, keep an eye. Now, we also already talked about Baltimore. No Ronnie Stanley, no Marlon Humphrey. Now, the issue has always been for Baltimore this year, 4th quarters. The Ravens trailed less than 30 minutes this season total, but they've lost in overtime to Indy, on a late touchdown to Pittsburgh, and on a last play field goal by Cleveland. So they've outscored opponent, but what's crazy is Baltimore's outscored their opponents 79-16 in the 1st quarter, right? It's kind of wild. But they haven't been as close to dominant like that in the 4th. They struggled to finish the games. That's a good summary. You know, they really have not done well in the 4th quarter. It's kind of like when you have a good lead, you get too comfortable when you take your foot off the gas. That's essentially what's happened here. What you're seeing with Baltimore. That's been the story all season. The season has been just a quick recap of, not a quick recap, but this whole season for them in the 4th quarter has been, okay, we're up by a score or 2. We can afford to make a couple mistakes. Let's try our best, try finish drives. The defense can do their job and hold up. Yeah, if you rely too much on defense and keep putting them back out in the field, they're going to get exhausted. They're going to open doors, and they're going to have a couple mistakes. And they're going to capitalize off the mistakes. And then you have to put the pressure back on your offense. Like, after they're taking a break and not acting too crazy, they have to be like, oh, God, the game's tied. Now we have to get back in gear. And they struggled to get back into that gear that they were for the first 3 quarters of the game. That does happen. I've seen it with many teams before. This wouldn't be the first time. So we need to see improvement in that front. Big time. If they can secure their 4th quarters and make sure no comebacks happen and play to the end, they're a good team. But the problem is they're struggling to play to the end. Let's see if they can correct that. Under the lights, which is another thing I'll say. The Ravens are 19-3 this year at home in regular season night games since 2008. It's a typical ESPN stat, but it's an important stat at the same time. The Ravens are 19-3 at home in regular season night games since 2008. The Bengals in this same exact situation, except they're on the road, they've lost 13 straight. They have yet to win. It's been a long time since they've won a game on the road for a regular season night game. Since 2008. They have lost 13 consecutive. They have yet to win one in that time frame. So if they win this game, it would be a big accomplishment. So we'll see if they can do that. If you're asking me my honest opinion about some prop bets or whatever, if you're going to do betting tonight, I would say Gus Edwards 50+ rushing. I think I'm in on that. If we're doing touchdowns, I think Lamar Jackson gets a rushing touchdown. So Lamar Jackson touchdown tonight. If you're going to the Bengals side, I would say Burrow should be okay in the passing front. I'll say 200+ passing. I won't go higher than that. I really do think, or if there's like an over-under where it's like 230, go under on it. I don't know if he's going to pass for 230 or over. I mean, he's been very wish-wash. But since he's gotten healthier, he's been improving every single game. That's what I will say. But in this specific season so far in these games, I mean, he typically, let's say since in the last 3 weeks, he has gone at least 280 yards in every game. So does that trend continue? That's yet to be seen. When he first played Baltimore, again, he threw for 222. So if you want to be on the safer side because they don't have Humphrey, and they didn't have Humphrey in this game either, I'll say if you're going to go for it, do 225+. Well, we'll play it safer. I still want to play it safe. 225+ if you're going to do alternate passing yards for Joe Burrow. 225+. If there's an over-under on it, screw it. I mean, go for the over. Who cares at this point? He's actually not having his best season, but he's doing better now that he's not injured. That's how I'll explain Joe Burrow to people. If you're going to go look at anything else, if you want to look at like Joe Mixon, see what's going on with him. He's got 4 touchdowns on the year. If you go to the game-by-game situation with him, he has scored a touchdown in 3 consecutive games. I think that streak ends tonight. He really struggled he didn't struggle really against Baltimore, but he's yet to register a 100-yard rushing game. But he has been getting he's been trying to get active in the passing game. His passing game is inconsistent with receiving yards. He's inconsistent. His most he's had in a game is against Baltimore, and that was only 36 yards. His lowest total he's had is -1, which was last week against Houston. Mixon hasn't been having his best year. I'll say that very, very honestly and transparently. In full transparency. So if you're going into this game and he did okay against Baltimore the first time, I'm thinking it depends on what the over-under is. If it's like an over-under of like 50 for his rushing yards, I'm not going to be in on him, honestly. I would really go, if it's a higher over-under, like a 60, I would say under. If it's like a 50, I don't know. I'd probably say over. That's my issue. I'm like in between. I can't consistently tell you guys what it would be. I mean, in total, the amount of games here he's gone over 50. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, he's had 6 games this season where he's gone over 50. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 games he's gone over 50. There were a couple that he didn't, which was against Seattle 4 weeks back, only 38 yards. He did it against Buffalo in 2 weeks ago, and then he did it again against Houston last week, only getting 46. I feel like if you're doing collective yards on him, you would have a better shot. If you're doing collective like scrimmage yards, 50+ would probably be the safer bet. A collective like scrimmage yard thing, total yardage, 50+ would be great for Mixon in this game. Now outside of Mixon, if we're looking at everything else, I think if you're going to do any touchdowns, again, Lamar Jackson rushing touchdown seems like a given to me. You could also give one. I mean, you have a choice. It's either him or you're going with Gus Edwards. Gus Edwards has 8 touchdowns on the year. In these specific games this season, actually, in fact, he scored a touchdown each of his last 4 games. When he played Cincy, he registered 1 as well. He had 1 against Detroit. He had 3 against Arizona, 2 against Seattle, 1 against Cleveland last week, even though he only had 24 yards on the ground carried. His carries have been a question, but his total yardage hasn't been. I mean, if you want to go with his ground game, I already told you guys about the importance of Cincinnati not having Hubbard. Their run game is going to take a significant hit from that. I mean, last time they played, he had over 50 yards, which he hasn't done too much of that this year. He ran for 62 with a touchdown. So if they're going to incorporate him more in that sense, I'll say, I got a better bet for you. Gus Edwards, he's getting at least 1 reception tonight. So if they have alternate receptions, do 1+ on Gus Edwards. I'll give you something better. Do that. That one's much better for him in this situation. But that's the plan for the game. If you're asking me the final outcome, I will tell you now, my belief is that Baltimore wins this. They will complete the season sweep of Cincinnati, but again, I could be just as wrong. I could be just as wrong as everybody else. I still have to figure out what my record was from last week. I haven't had the time to sit down and really do that with all the things I've been doing this week. So I have to count out my picks actually and see what is the final total of my record at the moment to kind of really give you guys a sense of how my picks have been. That's what I'm going to have to do. It's the only option I have at the moment. Let me just make sure of this and check what I did. Detroit, I believe, did win that last game. So that would make it correct. And I think the final record sits at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Wait, what? That doesn't make sense. Okay. Yeah. I think that makes sense. Okay. Weird. I definitely must have put it in my phone, but I'll double check it another time. I definitely did the picks, but I have to tally everything up. But that's my expectation. I expect the Ravens to win tonight. If I give you guys a score estimate, it's tough. I'll say this might be a field goal game because since he always plays tough, I'll say 23-21 is the final. 23-21. Baltimore wins by 2. It'll be a close game. If you guys doing spread, I would maybe take Cincinnati. Even though they don't have T. Higgins or Yoshivas, they're going to be fine. But it's going to be a tightly contested battle. Division games are always like this, so that's my guess. And that's how I feel for Thursday night. That's your preview, your information, some of the betting things. Let's stay in the AFC North for a second and talk about what's going on with Deshaun Watson. So Deshaun Watson, his injury is a little bit unique. It's not something we've seen. It doesn't often happen in sports, from what I'm able to understand of the injury. It was to a specific bone in his shoulder that isn't often damaged as much when you do have a broken shoulder. Or when you have a shoulder fracture. So I will tell you guys in 3 seconds what it was. I believe Watson's shoulder injury was different. Let me get the full actual answer on what the injury was. But in the meantime, what I will tell you is they've decided on what's going to happen. Supposedly with Deshaun Watson, the plan is in his absence for the rest of the season, they might be starting DTR. DTR will start this weekend against the Steelers. Let's see if they can pull that win off. I'm trying to get the full answer and the medical knowledge I've read about the specific injury. I mean, all I keep seeing are the Bill Cosby memes about Deshaun Watson saying he deserved it, which, I'm iffy on the whole thing. I would never say somebody deserves something, but I wouldn't say it's karma. I wouldn't say that. You never want to see somebody hurt. But to say I feel bad for him, I would say I feel bad for Cleveland fans. Because this is another situation of having a quarterback who's not panning out. That's it. That's how I would chalk that up. I wouldn't chalk it up to anything involving the massage therapists, the accusations. I'm leaving it solely from a football standpoint. I feel bad because this contract is not working out as everybody expected. And next year, he's going to make a lot of money. He's going to make a lot of money next year, too. I cannot figure out what was it, man? There was this, I remember reading, who was it? Pro Football Doc, I think is who it was. Let me see. Pro Football Doc. Yeah, I think David Chow. Yeah, he's the one who talked about it. David Chow. He was a former NFL head team doctor for 17 plus years. He's worked on many different players. He's official injury expert on SiriusXM Radio and for Fox Sports Radio. He's done it for them. So they're going to talk about the Deshaun Watson injury. He explains the full extent of it. According to him, he said that with Deshaun Watson, the apparent story is that, let me see what he said. Here we go. Playing through the first half, he had a glenoid fracture in that game against the Ravens. He suffered a fracture, which again, still crazy that he won that game with that issue. So for those who don't know what the glenoid is in your shoulder, that would be specifically, let's see if they can get a good pic of it. What does a glenoid fracture look like? So the glenoid, so you'll see exactly what it looks like. So I'll show you guys what it looks like. Again, it's just like a little diagram. It's nothing crazy. As we go to the highlight scene, I should be here. There we go. Got it. Sorry about that. If you guys don't know, this is the highlight window where we show all of the information we need to show, including highlights, usually from YouTube. But in this case, I'm going to show you guys what the glenoid fracture looks like. This is what it looks like. So this is your glenoid in a nutshell. So this is what your shoulder looks like. So they're showing about the glenoid cavity up here. Essentially, think about it like a ball and socket. Like you fit it there and then it rotates like that around or whatever. I got a good representation. I have my camera stand here, right? Right here. I'm going to loosen it a little bit. See how I'm able to rotate this around like this? Right? Like that? Because it's like shaped like a ball and secured in here. Okay. Your shoulder moves the same exact way in the sense, just doesn't have limitations that this thing does because it's got points to limit. You got more flexibility and movement in your shoulder than you do here with this thing. But the same thing happens. Let's say usually the fracture would be somewhere more related to the actual socket here that holds it in place. And that's how you get dislocations. That's how you get the damages there. And they have to repair that bone right there in order to fix that, which would be a fracture to your more around like your scapula or the acromion. Like that's really more where it would be, which is where, you struggle to hold everything in the socket. With the glenoid cavity fracturing there, that's more of the ball itself going into the socket. So with the fracture here, where the ball is, you physically can't keep the shoulder in. Like it can't stay in the socket. It just comes out and won't stay in. So in order to fix that, you have to get a surgery, and that full repair time for that bone to heal will take a while. And that's that's not an easy injury to come back from. That's a fracture to the shoulder socket, essentially. The cavity itself, the wrapping or the look, connecting it to the shoulder. So like when you come up like this, everything your rotation, you have no limitations really to how far you can go back. Because I can go all the way back to here and come back. There's nothing, that's how you should move. With him, he doesn't have, it's a painful rotation. So here, anything he has to do is to pump back. He can't really do it and have emphasis on his throws. It's going to affect him. And everything he does in the shoulder, it's not going to be helpful. So that's essentially what the damage is. That needs to heal and repair, and that takes a lot of time, man. So again, I feel bad for Browns fans because I feel they just got cheated out of a contract. Again, another bad QB decision. And it's nothing against Deshaun Watson. It's literally just a bad decision they made. Now, with this, it's kind of crazy that he went through the first half with the glenoid fracture and a high ankle sprain at the same time. Forgot to mention that. He has a high ankle sprain too. He ended up going 14 for 14 the second half in a comeback victory. He played through an injury like that, which requires surgery and season-ending stuff to secure them a victory against the Ravens. I mean, that's kind of crazy. Now, here's the thing, though. Someone said that apparently this injury, the indications are that this is a brand new injury that he suffered on Sunday. Originally, it was the rotator cuff that had the problem. This is now the actual, it's now the glenoid. So that's changed everything. Now, supposedly, this is the hit where it happened. Somebody has a video of it. This is supposedly the hit and the injury, the hit where the injury happened. Right here. So you're going to watch it here. Takes the hit right there. That's more than likely where it happened on that shoulder. You're going to see it again one more time. He's coming out, takes this hit here from the Ravens. They come side to side on him. It's got to be that left shoulder. Got to be that left shoulder where he felt it. I don't know if it was really his throwing shoulder. It looks more like his left was the one that was affected. Because I don't remember what side they said the fracture was on. So I believe that would be the left side based off the way that impact is. Oh, no, it's a right shoulder injury. Okay, so his right shoulder, his throwing shoulder was the one that got hurt. They're saying helmet hit directly to the shoulder, which was pinned between two defenders. I mean, yeah, that would make plenty of sense. I guess I'm wrong. Yeah, okay. That's fine. Now, Watson apparently back yesterday said he wanted to be shot up and play through the injuries. He sought multiple medical opinions, but the doctors made it very clear to him if he got hit again in the same spot, the shoulder could fall apart. So you don't want the shoulder to fall apart. So now he has to get surgery and his season is over. Which again, it implies that there's aggravation of a pre-existing shoulder injury, which again, it was originally the subscap strain, which was the rotator cuff. Now it's the surgery for the glenoid fracture, and it's just now just more pieces that you just got to fill in the puzzle. And according to GM, he said it was a new injury, took a second quarter hit, didn't complain until the second half or the next day, and now they have a surgery scheduled so that he can get this resolved and he can come back soon. So that's the story. And that's again come from David Chow, the former an ex-NFL team doctor, lead doctor for 17 plus years. He gave the full analysis here of what it seemed to be. Now, moving forward, how does this affect the Browns? Well, let's look at what their current schedule looks like the rest of the way. They're only 6-3, we said, right? We've seen them win games with PJ freaking Walker, which makes no sense. I mean that. It makes no sense with them winning games with PJ Walker, who has not played good. He has not played well at all, and yet they're winning football games with him. They're in Cleveland, at Cleveland Brown Stadium, against the Steelers, 1 o'clock on Sunday, and it looks like they're going to give DTR the ball. DTR is going to be the main quarterback for this game, which again, I agree, I don't agree. It's a loaded situation because I can't guarantee that Cleveland wins. I really can't with him. There's a lot of questions about DTR. The plan is, though, supposedly Walker's going to start the rest of the year, but they're having DTR start this game. That's what I don't understand. Nobody's picking a side. I can't figure out, and I've been checking this. I can't figure out if it's Walker starting the rest of the way and they're just having DTR for this game, or DTR is the guy the rest of the year. That's what I don't understand, because the backup is supposed to be PJ Walker. But for this game, they're going to use the rookie Dorian Thompson-Robinson from UCLA. Now, a little peek into what the rest of the schedule looks like. The Browns have the Steelers this week, followed by the Broncos in Denver. Then they got to go to the Rams in LA. And their closing schedule isn't too difficult, outside of the Jaguars, really, and Texans. They got the Jaguars after that. Then they got the Bears. Then they got to go to Houston. Then they got the Jets. And then they close out against Cincinnati on January 7th. So you got 8 more football games to play. And again, you got half a season left to go. The Steelers are a division rival. It will be a tough game. If they can win, if DTR can win that one, I'm not out. I won't be out on the Browns yet. I'll have some hope because the Broncos playing good football lately. They could be a tough team to out. The Rams have been a mess. They could be beaten. The Jaguars have been a hard team to beat as well, even though, we saw what the 49ers did. That'll be a struggle for them. The Bears, they should beat the Bears. And again, the Browns' biggest attractive point is their defense has been great. If I'm giving you an estimate based off these games, let's see. If I'm going off my personal input and how I feel it's going to go, I think they beat the Steelers this week somehow. They find some kind of stupid way, and they beat them. I think they lose to the Broncos. They beat the Rams. They lose to the Jaguars. They beat the Bears, lose to the Texans. Beat the Jets, lose to the Bengals. So that's 4-4 down the stretch. If they go 4-4 down the stretch, that puts them at 10-7. If they go 10-7 at that point, you're fighting for a wild card spot. I think they would miss out, but still have a winning record. That would make sense. 10-7, again, it's mostly because the defense is anchoring them, not the fact that their offense is playing great. That's really what would be the deciding factor, because that's been the story of the team this whole season, is that they have done a really good job of staying alive because their defense has kept them in games for so long. So I don't think it's necessarily over for the Browns, but you need the quarterbacks to play well. And they're going to bring in a third quarterback who's not going to be the new starter. They're just going to bring in a third quarterback as an insurance policy. The question is, who is that quarterback going to be? I don't know. There are plenty of quarterbacks out there who would probably like to come back and would love a job. I mean, let me go look at one of my favorite sites to go to who has a list of free agents, which would be here a system known as Spot Rack. I'm sure you all know, I've heard of Spot Rack. It hosts all the contracts and anything financial and transactions related to the major leagues, including NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, WNBA even. And also golf, soccer, racing, tennis, and like stuff like USFL, XFL, PHF, Overtime Elite, and the NBA G League Night League. So let's go off of, we're not going to look at the 2024 free agent. We're going to go to the 2023 free agents and update that. That's how we'll do it. This is how you'll know, because you have to go off the status of available. Now, in the available status right now of guys that can be signed in the position of quarterback, right? Here are your options you have of guys that are not on teams right now. You've got Matt Ryan, who's 37 years old, sitting in a booth. You got Tom Brady, who's definitely not coming back. I don't think he's going to unretire to go play for the Browns of all teams. You have Colt McCoy, who's also old at 36 years old, struggling as a career backup. Joe Flacco, 38. That's not an option. These are all mainly pocket passing guys. Nick Foles, nope. Chase Daniel, nope. Trevor Siemian, that's an option. Jeff Driscoll, nope. Rippon, no. Will Greer, no. Wolford, no. Trace McSorley. Actually, I'm not out on McSorley. I think McSorley's got some dual threat ability to him. He can do a lot. So I would say Trace McSorley's one to watch that they could possibly pull in. Bryce Perkins has some mobility to him as well, so he could be an option. Streveler, I think, just signed somewhere. I'm not sure. No, he didn't. I think he went in for a workout with somebody. I don't know if he got signed. But Streveler is another option. 28 years old. He's got some mobility to him, but he's not a great thrower, honestly. Jake Luton, I think he actually is with the team now. He is not with the team. Never mind. I don't know why I thought so. Reed Sinnott, Ben DiNucci, and Tim DeMorit. I would say, again, I'm down to only two. I would say 2 or 3 guys I would side with. McSorley, Perkins are the main 2. I would say McSorley and Perkins are good options. And if you really want to take a risk, you could go with Will Greer. He's got a slight bit of mobility to him. Looked good in the preseason. And even Trevor Siemian, if you're okay with just a pocket passer guy with starting experience, that would be another option. That's where I currently sit. That's what your options are, though. So I understand why they would stick with DTR and Walker, even though I think one of those 4 quarterbacks could be better than Walker. But that's where I currently stand. That's what I think about the Browns' injury. And I think they can still make a postseason playoff run, but they really need to stay strong and let that defense do the work. And the quarterbacks have to play better. They just have to play better. If they don't play better, their season's over. They can still get a winning record, but their season's over. So that brings us into the MLB now. And what I'm going to talk about with the A's relocation, that's going to be set into also the awards review. So let's talk about some of the awards that went out for the MLB this year, the MLB Awards. I will get a full list of the awards for you all. So here are the latest news and results. Again, according to MLB.com, they have everything listed. They still have not revealed the All-MLB team. That's going to be revealed on November 19th. Wait. Nope, December 16th, that will be revealed, the All-MLB teams. Voting is still open for that. You guys can go vote on there on the MLB site. That you can vote now through 8 o'clock Eastern on November 19th, which again would be this Sunday night. They'll announce the first and second team All-MLB on December 16th. Here are the awards. You have the American League National League MVP. You have the Cy Youngs, you have the Rookie of the Years, Manager of the Years, and the Silver Slugger and Golden Gloves. You also have Player's Choice and the Clemente Award. We'll do it this way. So we'll start with the Player's Choice Award. Player of the Year honors are given to, are basically given by players. Players make their choice. So Player's Choice Awards. Players choose who was the best player of the year, who was the player of the year. That to me is like the most prestigious honor. Having your own colleagues decide who was the best player in the league this year, that's who should be the MVP or considered player of the year. Ronald Acuna was the winner, as expected. First 40-70 season in MLB history. Dude was absolutely insane this year. So he gets their honors. Roberto Clemente Award, that went to Aaron Judge. That's usually given to somebody who's heavy involved in the game, like who best represents game baseball. And that's usually through showing great character, good community involvement, philanthropy work, and positive contributions that come both on and off the field. So Judge got that for all the work he's done with the All Rise Foundation, which inspires kids to reach their goals and dreams. In terms of the Gold Gloves this year, this is where we start getting a little more contested. For the American League, Jonah Heim won at the catcher spot. Nathaniel Lowe for the Rangers gets the first base. Andre Jimenez at second. Chapman at third. Volpe at short, which again, even though I'm a Yankee fan, I'll tell you, I don't agree with that. Stephen Kwan in left from the Guardians. Kevin Kiermaier, Blue Jays, center field. Dolis Garcia in right for Rangers. Pitching Gold Glove goes to Jose Barrios of the Blue Jays. And at the utility role, Mauricio Dubon from the Astros. In the National League side, you have Gabriel Moreno winning it for the catcher spot from D-backs. Christian Walker at first. And Christian Walker, well-deserved. Some of the plays he made this year was ridiculous. I mean, ridiculous. Nico Horner, second base for the Cubs. Great fielder. Brian Hayes for the Pirates gets the third base spot. No Nolan Arenado this year, interestingly enough. Shortstop, Dansby Swanson. Great year he had with the Cubs. Same goes for the Ian Happ, who won for left field. Brenton Doyle, Rockies, gets the center field spot. And in right field, after getting a position switch from the sign they made for Xander Bogaerts and moving him to right field, Fernando Tatis Jr. of the Padres gets a Gold Glove. And Zach Wheeler, the pitcher for the Phillies, gets it for the pitching spot. Ha-Sung Kim, also from the Padres, gets the Utility Gold Glove Award. Playing any position in the infield, really. And he could play the outfield if he wanted to. Now comes the fun. The Silver Sluggers. Allie Rutschman wins for the Orioles in the catcher spot. Makes plenty of sense. Dude was raking like a machine this year. Yandy Diaz for first base for the Rays. This is his first time he's won. Yandy is a phenomenal talent. He really came out of his shell this year and was anchoring that Rays offensive attack. Marcus Semien gets second base. I mean, that was clear as day. Dude's in the running for the American League MVP, so it makes sense. So Semien for the Rangers. Rafi Devers for the Red Sox. Dude was the best player on the Red Sox all year, by far. Give him the third base spot. Plenty. Corey Seager, shortstop. He was also in the MVP conversation for the Rangers. So clearly he's going to be in the Silver Slugger Award. Luis Robert Jr., White Sox, outfielder. Perfect. Dude was an anchor on that Chicago team that was not good. Julio Rodriguez for the Mariners. Slow start, but a really strong second half that put him back into this category for the Slugger. And Kyle Tucker of the Astros. He had himself a hell of a year. Congrats to him. He really deserved this award. He played well over people's expectations. In the DH spot, of course, it's Shohei Ohtani, one of the best bats in the league here, and also one of the best pitchers at the same time. Hope he heals up soon and gets better from that Tommy John. And in the utility spot, Gunnar Henderson of the Orioles makes so much sense. That Orioles team was surprisingly good all year, and especially on the offensive front. In the National League, it is William Contreras of the Brewers. Great work he did this year. I'm a little shocked that he got it, but the Brewers themselves, I'm a little shocked they even did too much this year. Matt Olson of the Braves gets it first base spot. He had himself a great year with the way he was hitting the ball. That thing was flying off the bat like it was nobody's business. Congrats to him. Luis Arraez, second base for the Marlins. I mean, you guys saw the trend he was going with, the average fighting up against Ted Williams' record. That's kind of mind-blowing. Of course he deserves a Silver Slugger. Third base, Austin Riley of the Braves as well. He had himself a good year too. Decent hitting. It's been Olsen, Riley, and Acuna really leading the way for the Braves. They have done so much work offensively that you can't not give them the award. Francisco Lindor gets the shortstop spot from the Mets. He, again, had himself a little bit of a slow start, but he really did strong down the stretch, and that pushed him into the shortstop conversation for the bat. So congrats to him. And in the outfield, Ronald Acuna Jr. of the Braves, Mookie Betts of the Dodgers, and Juan Soto of the Padres. All three of those men, absolute dynamite this year. Played really well. That ball just flew off their bat. They just knew where to put it, where to put the ball, where to put the barrel of the bat, and they were just good in that way. Just taking it yard and getting runs in, and just really good all around offensively. DH spot, Bryce Harper. A little shocked to see him in this spot. I think he could have had a real competition for first, but given the injuries, it makes sense that he was qualifying for DH, and he got the DH award. So congrats to Bryce Harper. And in the utility spot, Cody Bellinger of the Cubs. It makes so much sense. Bellinger had himself a resurgent year that was almost rivaling his MVP year he had with the Dodgers a few years back. And in the American National League, they added new Silver Slugger awards this year. The best Silver Slugger team, so best offensive team in each league. Rangers winning for the American League as expected. They were a strong batted team this year. For the National League, it's the Braves. Braves were record-setting. Of course, they had to win it. And now we get to the major awards. These are the most important ones of them all. Manager of the Year. For the Manager of the Year, there was some stiff competition. They had Bruce Bochy on here in the American League, as well as, I believe, who was the other person? There were nominees. I got to see who the nominees were fully to really know, so I can get it. Do we have a nominee? I cannot find the nominee. Wow. Well, I know that Bruce Bochy was probably a heavy favorite in this one because he had been having himself a great year. And, of course, finishing it off in his first season with the team by winning the World Series. Kind of incredible. But the award did not go to him. In fact, it went to Brandon Hyde of the Baltimore Orioles. 2 years after the Orioles endured 110 losses with him at the helm, he piloted this young O's team of 2023 to 101 wins and an American League East title to become the franchise's fourth Manager of the Year winner. This man also should be credited. He had finished them with the best record in the American League altogether. Don't just forget about that American League East title. He had the best record in the American League. That's crazy. And you go to the National League side, there's plenty of options you can go with here. In the end, it was Skip Schumacher who gets it. In his first year as the big league manager, Schumacher led the Marlins to the fourth postseason appearance in their franchise's history. This is his first year managing at the big league level ever. And he got them to the postseason. But they had a 33-14 record in one-run games, which really pushed them over the top and got them to that point. If they don't have that record in one-run games and they're at about sub 500, they don't make the postseason. So he's now become the fourth Marlins skipper to be named Manager of the Year ever. Go to the Rookie of the Year awards as well. There were stiff competition in these areas as well, but it ended up being almost unanimous for both sections. Gunnar Henderson wins it for the American League. He was a dynamic defender at two infield positions while providing extra base impact at the plate, leading both the Orioles and All-American League rookies in I believe it said B WAR, which is a 6.2, and F WAR, which was a 4.6, and also hit 28 homers, 9 triples, 82 RBIs, and scored 100 runs. Corbin Carroll is the winner of the National League, which I think should have been expected by everybody. I still don't know how Ellie De La Cruz got so many votes. Great, hot beginning when he first showed up, but he got so cold towards the end. Corbin Carroll had 25 homers and 54 steals. It made him the first 25-50 rookie in MLB history, en route to leading the D-backs to make it to the World Series and becoming Arizona's first ever National League Rookie of the Year award winner, and that was a unanimous vote. Corbin Carroll was unanimous. In the Cy Young category, this is the most important one of the most important, the most prestigious for pitchers. For the National League and the American League, it was really no competition for either side. In the National League, batters mustered a paltry 181, 293, 286 slash line against this pitcher, who wins the Cy Young for the second time in his career. He had 12 scoreless starts, tied for the most by a qualified starting pitcher since 1969. This guy racked up 234 strikeouts, and his 31.5% strikeout rate ranked second in the majors. With all these numbers, there's no doubt this man deserved this Cy Young award, no matter how anybody else may construe it to be. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner was the Padres' Blake Snell. If you would have told me Blake Snell would have 2 Cy Young awards, I wouldn't have believed you. But let me tell you, he had himself a phenomenal year. he's still a coveted free agent, don't get me wrong, as a pitcher. But they have been really targeting him about his innings pitched. He was significantly under in some categories, including only having 180 innings, compared to the American Cy League Young winner. This guy is a 2-time Cy Young Award runner-up. He led the American League in ERA at a 263, 209 innings, and an opponent batting average leading the American League with a 206. He allowed 4 earned runs over his final 5 starts, which spanned 35 innings, and capped his year with a 2-hit shutout. Ladies and gentlemen, this year's winner was Garrett Cole of the New York Yankees. Shockingly enough. He was dominant. He has been dominant for a while. I'm happy to see him getting his recognition now. He put himself up on a historic trend this year. Really knocked it out the park and got that award and just earned every single dollar and award that came out of that. I mean, everything he did was phenomenal. So congrats to him. Great, great year for Garrett Cole. And in the MVP section, the MVP Awards, that comes out tonight. But I think we kind of all have a feeling where that'll be. I'll go off my prediction because I think everybody's on the same page on this. The American League MVP, the finalists are Shohei Ohtani, Corey Seager, and Marcus Semien. If I'm being completely transparent and I'm being honest with all of you, I think we're all on the same page on who we feel the MVP is going to be. It is probably going to be Shohei Ohtani. So I'm going to go off on a limb and just say it's Shohei Ohtani as a guess. Educated guess. It's Shohei Ohtani, and it's rightfully deserved. The man is going to be the most coveted free agent we have seen probably in MLB's history, or in at least the last 50 years, the most coveted free agent. In the National League MVP category, it's Ronald Acuna Jr., Mookie Betts, and Freddie Freeman. Once again, a pretty obvious pick here. You go with the guy who made history and broke records the entire year. That would be Ronald Acuna Jr. of the Braves. I feel like he's got this one locked in the bag. He's going to be the National League MVP this year. Now, again, this is announced live tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern on MLB Network. So make sure to tune in for that. But it's definitely a difference. This would be Ohtani's second MVP award since 2021. Kind of crazy to think about. Kind of crazy, honestly. At least that's my personal opinion. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, that's currently where I feel we're at. That's just kind of like that's what my educated guess is. Not what I think's not what I know or what I think I know is gonna happen. It's really just my educated guess on what will happen. And that's where I'm at. But again, I think all the awards were correct this year. You could definitely argue a couple spots, but I just feel everything was right. Everything was just right. You know what's not right, though? All the backlash I'm seeing about the Oakland A's. That's what's not right. And we're going to have some fun with this one. We're going to go now into the Oakland conversation. I'm sure I could find a clip of the Oakland A's relocation being announced. And I'll answer anything you guys got. I'm going to probably find the clip now. Let me see if I can find the correct news source for this. And I'll fill y'all in on that. I believe it'll probably be on whatever's the local news. So I think we're going to go off of... I think we're going to use the San Francisco one. We're going to use the feed from San Francisco. We're not going to use KRON 4 News. We're not going to use King 5 Seattle. We're going to use KTVU, Fox 2 San Francisco. So full rights and credit to them on whatever footage I'm about to pull. So full credit to them. I'm going to pull it up right now.
With the breaking news we first told you about a half hour ago, Major League Baseball team owners unanimously approved letting the Oakland A's move to Las Vegas. KTVU's Bailey O'Carroll's in Oakland now with details of that vote earlier this morning. Good morning, Bailey.
Dave, good morning. That's right. That vote that took place less than an hour ago was really one of the biggest remaining hurdles in deciding if the A's would stay right here in Oakland or if they would move to Las Vegas. Of course, that vote coming in unanimously, all 30 MLB owners voting to approve the A's move to Las Vegas this morning. So that means they become Vegas's first ever MLB team, but not until 2028. That is the big key here. So the question this morning is, what do they do in the interim, in the time in between? We know that their lease does not expire at the Coliseum here in Oakland until take a look at the timeline. Here is what
Looks like we may have lost Bailey's.
Okay, I don't know what happened with her and her audio feed, but I'll tell you guys exactly what I see here. So this is the important details to note here of the timeline of what's about to happen with this move. From now to 2024, they had to apply for permits to make sure this can work. Then they got to demolish the Tropicana Hotel. Then they've got to start stadium construction in 2025. Here's the funniest part of this whole thing with them starting this construction. I don't know if you guys know, but starting this construction, right? How about this for crazy? The A's, this isn't a joke. From what I read, the A's, last year of their lease in their current stadium, the Oakland Coliseum, is this season. This coming season will be the last season they have in that ballpark. So now the 2024 season, they'll play there. 2025, when the new stadium construction starts, where do they go? Right? That's probably the question everybody's wondering. Well, if my sources prove to be correct, which I believe my sources would be Jeff Passan in this, I'll confirm that now, make sure that he's the one that tweeted it, because I did see it. And I will confirm whatever the tweet said right now for you. It's all my notifications. My notifications are always loaded up. So let's take a look, shall we? They're always loaded with information. So let's see what we get. I'm scrolling down. That is not, I'm looking. Oh, yep. Oh, here we go. Nothing was decided today as to where the A's will play in 2025 to 2027. But the possibilities that have been included, according to Evan Drellich again, possibilities that have been mentioned include staying at the Oakland Coliseum again, so extending their lease. They could also go to AAA Sacramento's stadium, so that's their minor league team, among others. And the Oakland mayor, Shang Thao, has made clear there will be conditions to staying at the Coliseum. So that would be very interesting to see. I'm a little fascinated by that. What I'm a little fascinated by is something else too. So from what I thought I also read something about San Francisco possibly taking the brunt of what's happening here. And also just to add here, just so you guys just so you guys understand as well, this will be the second relocation of a baseball team in the last half century. So in the last 50 years, this will be the second time you've seen a team relocate. I believe the last team to do so was the Montreal Expos when they relocated from Montreal to Washington and became the Nationals. I believe that's the last time we saw that. I believe the last team to relocate was the Montreal Expos. Again, I could be wrong, but I believe that's the last team. Yeah, they apparently folded in 2004 and moved to DC in 2005. Yeah, there you go. They moved to DC in 2005 and became the Washington Nationals, and the name of Montreal Expos ended in 2004 after the 2004 season. Yeah, so they relocated. They were the last team to relocate was Montreal. So we'll see what happens. I don't know if the A's are going to change their name or whatever. I would expect maybe some kind of modification because Las Vegas Athletics doesn't make sense to me. But I think they would probably do something. I mean, I would totally go with what football games used to do when they would come up with fake names or whatever, or like the NBA 2K Sims when they would come up with random names for teams. I've seen teams use the name the Las Vegas Jacks. And I like that one a lot. Like almost like playing a deck of cards or something, whatever. I really like that. I think that would be really nice. That would be really cool in my personal opinion. I wouldn't do the Las Vegas Kings. I do think Las Vegas Jacks would be nice. You have the Las Vegas Aces for WNBA who just won another title. You could also stay on the card trend and go with the Jacks. Be really cool. So I mean that's that. But there is another thing I did read here, which I think I just found what I was looking for. Supposedly, the other story I heard, and this came from Bob Nightingale, so I don't know how trusting this can be. It says here that the A's are expected to play in a variety of sites after their Oakland Coliseum lease expires after the 24 season. This would include Summerlin, Nevada, which is the A's AAA site. It could also include the Giants ballpark in San Fran, and also extending the Coliseum or doing work in the AAA Sacramento ballpark. That's so crazy because that did happen for a bit. We did have a team that had to go through that once, which was Minnesota in the NFL, if you guys remember. The Vikings, when they had to go get their new stadium, they changed it. You know what I mean? When they changed stadiums, and they were still waiting for construction to finish on their U.S. Bank Stadium, they had to go find a temporary place to play football. And that ended up being the Minnesota Golden Gophers stadium, the college stadium for the University of Minnesota Golden Gophers. They had to play there for a bit in order to supplement whatever they had going on. So once that stadium was finished, they were able to go back to that stadium, but I think they played a year or two in that stadium while they were finishing up. So this will be the first time this has happened. I mean, we've seen it plenty of times. This is nothing new to me. But I am going to address something that I've said before many times. There are a lot of fans upset about what's going on. And I'm sure you guys have heard from some of the athletes, including like Trevor May, talking about how much of a terrible person John Fisher is. And I'm going to tell you like it is. I'm going to tell you from a purely business perspective. You're talking to somebody who went to school and minored in sports business and in sports management. So I understand the logic of everything. And again, I was taking classes with sports executives, so I can tell you now what the mindset really is. When you have a team, right, your goal is to make sure it's an enjoyable product for the fans. And this is where I feel bad for the fans. I really do. Because there has been a winning... in my professional opinion, there has been a winning product on the field outside of last season. Outside of last season, and the season before, they had a winning product on the field. They got rid of the winning product. And supposedly, according to John Fisher, they have been struggling for the last 20 years to figure out a plan for Oakland. And to me, that's just unfair. And I'll give you guys the story why. I'll give you guys not the Wikipedia answer. Let me go to Baseball Reference to give you guys the full history of this team, to understand the extent of why I understand what he did. Because everything I do, I have to research everything. I can't just take whatever I see and just roll with it. So I'm going to give you guys the backstory of Oakland. This season, they got 50 wins. 50 and 112 with Mark Kotsay as their manager. Right? Let's talk about what this team did. I mean, their best player this year was Zach Geloff. Or Geloff, whatever you want to call him. This year was very struggling for them. They really did have a hard time. Geloff is their second baseman, 23 years old. He actually had a decent year, to be honest with all of you. He had a pretty good year for Oakland. But outside of him, guys like, J.P. Sears, Ryan Noda, Brett Rooker, Austin Pruitt, Paul Blackburn, that's Ramon Laureano, Shea Langeliers, Trevor May, and Zach Jackson. These are all guys who did pretty well. Most of them were young. Some of them definitely older. But the important thing to note in all of this is this wasn't a winning product put out in the field. Go back to 2022. They had 60 wins. They had 10 more wins last season, right? Led by Sean Murphy. They had Cole Irvin, Seth Brown, Frankie Montas, Elvis Andrus, Blackburn, Acevedo, AJ Puck, Caprellian, Kemp, Allen, and Zach Jackson again. So had Stephen Vaught as a DH in their spot. I mean, this is what they had, right? This is Oakland. That doesn't sound like a winning product to me. The year before that, they were 86 and 76 and finished third in the West. They had a winning record 2 years ago. Sean Murphy, Matt Olson, Jed Lowry, Elvis Andrus, Matt Chapman, Mark Cannon, Ramon Laureano, Seth Brown, Mitch Moreland. That's a really decent roster. Starling Marte off their bench, Josh Harrison, Stephen Piscotty, Jan Gomes, Aramis Garcia. I mean, they had some decent guys. You even go to their pitching. Frankie Montas, Sean Manaea, Cole Irvin, Chris Bassett, James Caprellian. Lou Trevino was their closer. Sergio Romo was a reliever for them. Jake Diekman was a reliever for them. I mean, Jesus Luzardo, Andrew Chafin, AJ Puck. They didn't have bad guys. They had a decent group. They really did. And they got rid of it. They got rid of Bob Melvin. They got rid of all this talent. It's shameful. And then you go back to the COVID year 3 years before that, and they made it to the postseason. They lost in the ALDS to the Astros. They actually won the division that year. They finished first in the West. Murphy, Olsen, Kemp, Marcus Simeon, Matt Chapman, Robbie Grossman, Ramon Laureano, Stephen Piscotty, Chris Davis. On their bench, Tommy LaStella, Mark Canna, Chad Pinder, Jonah Heim, Austin Allen. They had good guys. Pitching again, Chris Bassett, Mike Fiers, Jesus Azardo, Mike Minor, Liam Hendricks, J.J. McFarland. They had so many decent guys. And they just didn't do much with it. They just sold it all away. Now let's take a look at attendance. Because to me, with teams, attendance really matters to me. I know it sounds weird to say that, but team attendance matters. And I can see if I can find the attendance. I'm pretty sure they have the attendance here somewhere. They always have this stuff somewhere. If I can get team attendance, that would be great. I mean, like ballpark attendance, really. That's more what I mean. But yeah, if I could find that, that would be amazing. I need like the full season of it. Okay, look at the Oakland Athletics team history and encyclopedia. They should be here. Year by year stats, leaders, pages, honors, minor leagues, others. There you go. Attendance in parks. There we go. Got it. So let's go back to where they said all the issues began. Let's say they're going back 20 years, right? We're going back to 2004. 2004 was the first season they had missed the playoffs since 2000. Since 1999. They had 4 consecutive appearances in the postseason and lost all 4 in the ALDS. So 2004, the Athletics are there. They're ranking among all ballparks, teams ranking per home game attendance, right? This is in the American League at the time. For a long time, their attendance has been bad. Their attendance was bad for a while. I really do mean that. It was bad. I mean, you want to talk about bad. The lowest they had ever been in their... The last time they were 14th or 14th was 1979. They were 54 and 108. They only had 306,000 people attend the game. 14 of 14 at the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum. They ended up switching coliseums in 1998 to the Network Associates Coliseum. And that was in 98. They were there until 2004, their final year. That year, they were 7th of 14th in attendance, which is not terrible. Right? Not terrible. Good spot. 2.2 million going to games. Following season, they're 88 and 74. Finished 8th of 14 in attendance. Can I tell you that since 2006, when they lost in the ALCS, that they weren't sitting in the bottom 5? Maybe, let's see, 3 times. How about that? 3 times since 2006 to now did they not finish in the bottom 5 in attendance in the American League. They were that bad. They were that bad. Their fans just didn't go to the games. They just didn't go. And it got worse when COVID happened. When COVID happened, nobody could go to the games. There was no attendance. Right? No attendance. In 2019, that team that went to the wild card and lost, I told you guys about that. I didn't tell you about the 2019 team. That 2019 Athletics team, Matt Olson, Jurickson Profar, Marcus Simeon, Matt Chapman, Robbie Grossman, Ramon Laureano, Piscotty, Chris Davis, Canna on the bench, Kendrys Morales, Marshawn Murphy at the time. I mean, they had so many names here. And in the pitching, Fiers, Brett Anderson, Bassett, Montes, Homer Bailey, Hendricks, Yusmeiro Petit, Lou Trevino, Ryan Buchter, Wei-Sheng Wang, Sean Manahia, Jake Diekman, Luzardo, Puck, Nick Martini, like Trinan. They had so many guys here. Tanner Rourke even. And in the end, they were 97 and 65 team, 2019, right? They were 10th to 15th in attendance at year 1.6 million, just under 1.67 million. How about this for crazy? After that COVID year, can anybody guess in the ballpark of what their attendance was in 2021? Anybody want to guess the ballpark estimate? Anybody? Do you think they even touched 1 million in attendance last year? In 2021. Do you think they even touched 1 million? No, they didn't touch 1 million. They didn't touch 1 million people that year. The Oakland Athletics in 2021, their attendance was 700,000. That is a near 1 million person drop from their previous number. If you were to go into a calculator and estimate the percentage of a drop that is, right? Let's say 701, let me see, 701,430. I believe that's the exact number. 701,430. And you divide by whatever the last attendance number, which was 1,670,734. So 1,670,734. Divide those numbers, multiply by 100. You're talking about just about a 42% drop in attendance. A 42% drop in attendance in that time. Can you make that make sense? I mean, technically, it's 42% of whatever the original number was. So actually, it's not even a 42% drop. It's a 58% drop. 58% in attendance between 2019 and the first year out of COVID. And yes, did the number continue going up? Yes, but they stayed in the bottom of everything. Because of how bad the attendance was in 2021, they had to make cuts. And by cuts, this is what I mean. Their payroll in 2021 was $94.5 million. Their following season, when they went 60-102, their payroll was 50. This year, 2023, 51.2. Their attendance between 21 and 22 went up about 86,000. The following year, 2023, went up another 45,000. And yet, at the same time, their attendance, the attendance per game is the scary part. The highest number they ever had for an attendance per game ever was in 1990, when they went 103-59 and lost in the World Series. That is the highest they had for an attendance per game, was 35,000. You want to talk about how bad this has been for them? Let me go look for the specific number. 2021, right? That first year out of COVID at Ring Central Coliseum was one of the lowest numbers they've ever had. It was in the lowest end of the lowest attendance they've ever had. For reference, being 86 and 76, that puts them at a similar attendance per game as the 1907 Philadelphia Athletics. 1907, averaging 8,570 per game. Athletics averaged 8,660. The 1909 Philadelphia Athletics at 95-58 had a higher attendance per game than they did. And played less games, mind you. Now, in terms of total attendance that they've had at their games, the highest, 1990. That year they went to the World Series. They were supposed to win that year. That 90 Athletics team was phenomenal. And they lost in the World Series to the Cincinnati Reds. And what blows my mind is I keep going through these numbers, and every time I hear a person complain and say, well, they did this, they did that, whatever. How about this? The closest they ever came to really breaking the bank on players to try and win, the highest payroll I think they ever had was 2019. I'm not even kidding. Yeah, 2019 was the highest payroll they ever had. 2021 was the second highest. And despite the fact they had one of the highest payrolls in baseball in 2021 with $94 million spent, one of the higher payrolls, they still had a terrible attendance. They had a terrible attendance 2019 too, when they had the 102,000. 1.67 million, like I said, that's a low number. Every time, even when they spent big money to try and win something, nobody went to the games. So in the end, how can I support... Listen, I'm not saying John Fisher's a good guy. I'm not saying he's a bad guy. But make this very clear. From a sports management perspective, you're losing money by having nobody go to the games. You're spending... If you keep spending so much on the payroll and trying to win, but nobody's going to the games to supplement it and support the team, then why in the world would you stay there? Why in the world would you keep spending on a team that nobody cares about? And then now all of a sudden, because they want to move, right? Because they all want to move right out of Oakland, everybody's all of a sudden got their hands up and they're like, oh, what are you doing? Why are you leaving? All of a sudden, people complain when you want to leave. But when you were there and you were trying to play good and try to put out a winning product, they didn't want to go to the games. So think about it from that perspective of the owner and the general manager. You're trying to put a winning product on the field and nobody wants to go to the games. So why continue spending on a winning product if nobody wants to go see the product? So, because they weren't getting the money they needed from the attendance, they cut back. And they cut back their payroll in half almost. Cutting it down to $50 million. People were pissed saying they were tanking. No, they weren't tanking. And they protested because of all the pieces they sold off the assets, whatever. All mad about it. Well, guess what? Why'd you think they did it? Because you didn't go to the games. They didn't go to the games. How do you think ballparks make their money? They make it off merchandise sales and they make it off everything that happens in the stadium. And their advertising deals, their marketing deals, all of it. That's how they make it. You can't expect them to keep marketing a product and spend all this money on it for all of these things just for nobody to care and go. In my opinion, I'm okay with relocation. Screw it. I'm okay. And I'm sure that's why it was a unanimous vote, because they were losing money. They were losing money like crazy. And then people were like, well, if you're losing money, why would you spend money to go somewhere else? Because maybe that market will be okay with having a professional sports team. Everybody's seeing how much everybody loves Vegas right now. Vegas people love their teams. The Vegas Golden Knights just won a Stanley Cup, and that place was packed for them. They're packed almost every single game, the Vegas Golden Knights, with attendance, with people going to their arena. Just for hockey. And hockey is the fourth most popular sport in America. I mean, the fourth most watched league in America, the NHL. More people watch the NBA. More people watch the MLB. More people watch the NFL. And yet, they're packing out the arena every night. It's unbelievable. The Las Vegas Aces, a lot of people aren't invested in women's basketball. That place is almost packed every single game. They are that popular. People love them. They really do. The Las Vegas Raiders, who aren't even a good football team, honestly. They haven't been for a couple years now. People still go to the games. They're still packing out the Death Star. That's what we call it, the Death Star. They keep packing out the arena, the Allegiant Stadium. It doesn't matter. They love their sports. So in a thriving sports market like that, why wouldn't you put a baseball team there? Why wouldn't you do that? It's only the smart thing to do. And so that's why they're doing it. Because they know people may be like, oh, there's no market in Vegas. Vegas doesn't care about a baseball team. Bullshit. People said the same thing when they got a hockey team. Why would Vegas need a hockey team? They don't need a professional sports team. Dude, they got one. Their city has embraced them since day one. They made a Stanley Cup in their first season as a team. Come on now. Like, just shut that all down. Shut it all down. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. So again, in summary, the A's relocation I'm okay with because the fans did this. The fans did it and the city did it. City doesn't want him. Fan doesn't want him. Cool. Make the team look like the bad guy. Now, it doesn't mean, again, I don't have my issues with John Fisher, because I'm sure I do. I'm sure some of you also have an issue with John Fisher. And, you know, how he got his money and all these things. I'm sure people feel that way. But I'm talking about purely from a sports business, sports management perspective. This was the only right move, was to relocate and go explore their options. Las Vegas is the best thing you could do. And you got all these people, Angels fans, up in the air about, oh, why are you leaving? This is our team. If this was your team, you would have gone to every game and packed it out. I want you to compare this to a similar brand. Because people will say Oakland A's have been a poverty franchise. I'm going to give you a franchise as well that is similar to Oakland. Oakland has a lot of history to it, and so does this one. But the difference is that people, no matter how good or bad this team is, they will pack out. Right? I'm going to give you a team that performs similar to them this year. Let's talk about the Kansas City Royals. Right? Typically, the Royals will pack out. I mean that very seriously. The Royals are a team that packs out. Well, actually, no, yeah, let's test out Kansas City, because Kansas City actually is an interesting situation. I'm actually going to look this up just to confirm I'm not crazy, because I'm not sure how crazy their numbers actually are. Well, the difference is that their numbers all stay above the top 10. They've stayed in the top 10 of their league 5 times since 2015 when they won the World Series. They've done their job. It's, again, COVID derailed a lot of things. People are slowly going more and more back to the ballpark. For example, the Royals' record kept getting worse every year since 2021. But yet, people kept coming back to the ballpark. They started growing a little bit. The problem is that, they were spending more on their payroll, doing a little bit more. People are starting to turn out to the ballpark, keep turning out to the ballpark, even though their rankings are starting to drop a little bit. I have noticed that. They're starting to drop like 13th and 14th, which is not good. But that's only recent. Things can change. This isn't consistently every year like Oakland is. You want to talk about a team who really doesn't do well every year and ends up being a disappointment. Let's talk about the Tigers. Tigers are another team we could talk about. Let's take a look at them, right? Detroit is a historic franchise. They are. Since 1901, they've got 4 World Series, right? They've been to a few in their times, too. They have. In fact, let's take a look at their attendance, right? In their attendance, they've stayed out of the bottom 3. They haven't been in the bottom 3 of attendance since 2003. In 2003, there were 43 and 119 teams, so I would understand why nobody would go to the games. Because Detroit's teams are very similar. If our team's not good, we're not going to go. If they're good, we're going to go. And that's what they do. So I told you, they were 13th that year. The following season, they were 72 and 90, 9th of 14 in attendance. Their attendance went up almost 600,000 in a 1-year span because of how much better the team was from the year before. They did a good job. And it kept going up, and they started spending more and more and more. And things got better. 2006, they made it to the playoffs and made it all the way to the World Series and lost that year to the Cardinals in 5 games, right? Made it to the World Series and lost. That team, that year they ranked 5th in attendance in the American League at 2.6 million in 2006 when they were 95 and 67. The following season, with all the anticipation, 2007, went 88 and 74. Didn't make the playoffs, but because of the high expectations, they were 3rd of 14 in the American League with over 3 million. And they were over 3 million for back-to-back years, 07 and 08. 08, they were a losing team. They were 4th in 09, and they had a winning record. They had an even record in 2010, and they were 6th of 14. But then 2011, they were a better team that year and made it to the ALCS and lost. Their attendance went up. They go to the World Series in 2012, and they're 5th to 14th. See what I mean? They invested in a winning product. If the team wins, the fans show out. They go to the games if they win. But now let's talk about when they haven't been winning. They haven't had a winning record since it looks to be 2016. The 2016 season, they ranked 7th to 15. With just about 2.5 million attending. Since then, 17, 18, and 19, there was no winning product. 19 was their worst year they've had in this span. 47 and 114. 1.5 million people went to the game, and they were 12 to 15, which is the closest they've come to the bottom 3 of the American League. But that's because they're not putting a winning product on the field. 2021, people hesitant to come back. I get the lower attendances, but 77 85, they're 11 to 15, a little better. They improved in 2022, despite the fact their team got worse. And their attendance went up. And then the following year after that, this year, their attendance went up again, despite the fact the team was 78 and 84 and finished 2nd in their division. They were 12 to 15 again. But you're seeing what I'm saying. When they have a winning product in the field and you can see the team wants to win, they're going to keep coming back. And you're going to see more of your fans turn out when you invest. But the fans have to be invested to win. Detroit loves their Tigers, and they're going to fight for their Tigers, no matter what. They just know when their team is good and bad. If their team's good, they're going to go. If they're bad, they're not going to go. And that speaks volumes to the team itself. The team needs to do something. That's essentially what I'm saying here. Oakland's issue was the fans didn't go whether they were good or bad. They had good teams where they were making the playoffs. They had bad teams where they weren't making the playoffs. It didn't matter what it was. The fans just weren't showing up. And they argue now, they're leaving, they're going to ban us, we have no sports teams. Guess what? Whose fault is that? It's you. You didn't go. You didn't care when they were good. You didn't care when they were bad. That's it. They're relocating for that. I'm sorry to blame the fans that way, but I'm sorry. This is the truth. You can't expect for an owner to stay where he is if he's not going to make money. He's not. And I don't blame him. I don't blame Fisher for wanting to leave. It was the smart, logical thing to do. And if that gets me in trouble with fans, so let it be. That's how I feel about that, and nothing's going to change my mind on that. We're going to talk about, now with this covered, and the Oakland situation covered, we're going to now rotate to the final topic of the day. We're going to do a quick review of some of the NBA coverage from yesterday. Now, there were a couple of games people wanted me to look at the highlights for, so one of the games I was told to look at was the Magic game from yesterday. I think it was Magic and Bulls, two teams that are a little weird. I think that's the only way I could really word them is weird. Magic being a team that's like around is like a 500 team, and the Bulls really underperforming. And then the other one I was told was Knicks and Hawks, which are always a thick rivalry. So what we'll do is we'll start with the Knicks and Hawks first. We'll take a look at the highlights on this one. Only about 10 minutes. Do some breakdowns, show some good plays, and then we'll go over to the Bulls. I mean, they do have fantastic finishes as well, where you can go to like the last minutes of the game. I think what we'll do is we're just going to do the full game highlights and stick to that.
Scott Foster.
Okay, so Scott Foster, the iconic man himself, is one in for this. And here we are. We got the window. Let's do it.
Is the crew chief.
Now, I wasn't really watching this game despite the fact I live in the New York area. I really wasn't watching this game, so I really don't know who came out the winner of this one.
And he's one of the bigs that's going to play in the paint.
Okay, so good passing early already. I love watching teams that know how to move the ball around well to create new openings and lanes. I love watching that.
Again, shoots it over Jalen Johnson, Randall. So he goes with the fade, he goes with the three, and Randall's got two quick buckets.
He cut his hair, he looks like a rookie.
Hart. Good challenge by Johnson at the rim.
Bad decision there.
Indecisive.
And just feed it in.
Capella lays it home.
Can't get your hands up. Good attempt on that defensive side by Grimes.
Hart. Gets right to the rim.
Josh Hart is very good at working his way through down into the paint. He's very good at that.
Careless pass. Knicks take it away, and Grimes lays it in.
Good layup by Grimes. Simple.
Rookie dribbles on Brunson. Now kicks it back out. Sadiq Bey, also in the game. He was hot last night. Backs it in.
With those hurry-up
We'll look back at that one, actually. Sadiq Bey here. Let's take a look at this.
Rookie dribbles on Brunson. Now
Murray feeds it back here. Bey with the little fake move here that looks to be hard to bite.
Back out. Sadiq
Gets
Bey.
a little feed in there. You see Robinson sitting there waiting for him to engage inside the circle, which again would be a blocking foul. So let's see what happens here. He lets Hart cut in front. He's going to pump, fake, delay it, and then put it up outside of his hands.
With those hurry-up shots, but the Hawks got to capitalize on those.
That takes a lot of skill and technique to be able to pull that kind of thing off.
Murray
over the top
Randall
over
is good.
Randall. It's a mismatch.
First two tonight for DeJounte. And almost exclusively so. Hart comes up with a rebound and pushes the tempo. Hart's going to get all the way to the
Good way to
basket,
find
but
Brunson.
Capella
Almost lost it on the
now
pass, but
Brunson
nice job feeding out the open man instead of trying to make a hard
Getting
lay.
the rebound and going
in
coast
traffic.
to coast, getting all the way to the basket and making that nice left-handed whip pass.
Donovich feeds it back underneath Capella. Somebody put a hand on the ball, but Capella still got it in.
He quickly just checked in at the timeout. Also in the game
Hart,
for New York,
Hartenstein
Dante
feeds it back.
DiVincenzo.
Quickly back to
Brunson comes to get it.
Brunson working around.
No looks it.
Nice
The
no
big
look to
Ragu
DiVincenzo.
Lays it in. Gray works it. Top of the key. First
Good
shot of the
rebound by
night, too
Dante.
long. DiVincenzo right down the pipe.
That's
to
how you
Randall.
do it. That's how you do it. Good recognition.
Philadelphia here Friday night in an in-season tournament game.
10-point lead for the Knicks. You're telling me they blew this lead?
Hitting,
And it's out to the end one. Let's see the end one here.
Here's Randall.
Going to spin around here. Let's see if there was some kind of reach in.
Turning, hitting.
I guess they're
and
calling
one.
Sadiq for contact here
Season
somehow.
tournament game. Here's Randall. Turning, Hitting and one. So
Okay.
the Knicks go right back to Julius Randle, and he delivers. Okay, Tab, thank you. Here's Trey going up and short, looking for a foul call that never came.
That was good defense there, Bob.
Hardenstein, boy.
All you can do is let him just
Turnover
come
gives
down
the
the
ball
lane and
back
score
to
that. You
Atlanta.
can't really get in there and
On
block
the
it.
cut, Bogey going in quickly and scores. Nice find by Trey on the curl. Inside to Jalen. Out of the double. Trey, 8 on the
Trey
shot
looking
clock.
for something
Going up
here.
against the big guy in Hartenstein.
Out to
On to Bogey
Bogdanovich.
for
Good,
three. That's good.
good push out, let's say.
39-29. Bogdanovich. Hawks trying to
That one-on-one on Brunson's crazy. Brunson
Bogdanovich.
trying to get space here. Hardenstein trying to close the gap in case he tries to cut inside and work his way in. And instead, he lets him take the pull up with a slight little step back and fade away. And inside,
trying to
gets it.
pick up the tempo.
It's like a slight fade away.
Nothing developing.
Beats it back down this way, back to
Jalen
there.
open.
Oh,
Lets it fly.
easy tops. Easy. Good rotation there. Got that ball moving real well.
Quickly. Ball fake.
Quickly
Kicks
put
it
the
up
top of the key
Here's
left,
Hart
wide
for three.
open. Josh Hart,
Good.
easy money.
Josh Hart made such a big difference.
It's like a
Okay,
bait and
now the
switch
ball's
almost.
starting
It's
to
pretty
move.
good.
Here's Trey. Backs up. Hits a two.
Got a little bit of separation on the
His
double
third
step back.
basket.
Actually looked like a stuttered step.
Okay, now the ball's starting to move. Here's
Tried to spin
Right.
around here. And then he sits, does a little bit of in between the legs. Goes back 1-2.
backs up.
Up. Got it.
Hits a two.
Right on quickly.
His third
He wasn't prepared
basket.
for
Well,
that.
New York continues to get points in the paint.
Bogey lets it fly. Deep and
Bogdanovich
Bogey.
making some big shots.
Gives to Brunson. And rookie
Brunson
force
across.
on the
Failed on
New
the
York
pass
bench.
there.
A steal.
Open lane take. Bay with the slam. Small slam,
Corner
Bay with the
three
slam.
for Sadiq. Tip. Bogey has it. No look to Bay.
Again, good recognition on the floor from him.
Tip. Bogey.
He sees Bay's got an opening. He's uncovered. Robinson's too busy occupied here. Brunson's focusing on him. Julius has got him over here. And so he sees that they're gonna close the gap on him, so he feeds it in here, knowing that Bay's gonna come across.
He has it.
It's great vision
Bay cuts the baseline
and recognition of the
dumps it.
situation. It's a smart thing to do.
1 point lead, my
And now that gives them the
back to
lead.
the
So that was,
baseline.
again, he doesn't do that, they don't
Timed
have
it
the
just
lead.
right.
9 seconds to shoot for New York. Quentin Grimes, tough take, tipped in by Robinson.
Down under, loved it.
Randall pumping that ball. Compelling
Randall
a
with his
handoff.
turnovers are so
Good
bad
hustle at the
sometimes. They
midcourt.
really are. He makes some bad
Inside
choices.
Robinson.
But that little bait,
Stayed home and they found
getting
him.
them all pulled over there, left the man
Right.
open. Robinson with an easy
Sadiq
easy
runs
slam.
the baseline, kicks it out, catch and shoot, Jalen.
Yeah, Johnson making some big shots.
Hustles back. Brunson pitch ahead. Quentin Grimes out
Grimes,
of the corner
good
for
three
three.
there, good three ball. They're holding on. It's a close game though, very close.
Randall back to
Keep them
Grimes.
moving. Let's see how Grimes came around to that point.
Randall
Grimes sitting here. They did a
Back
switch
to Grimes.
position. Had Brunson move in
He's
to
got-
pick up over here. Pull in some defenders. Have Grimes switch over. So drop back and slide over. Picks up the defenders on Brunson, which leaves Grimes open with some separation to make an open three.
another three.
Well,
Well
he's
done.
not a
Good
guy that's going to
executed play there.
drive to the basket and try to...
Back across to Randall. Over to Robinson with
Underneath,
the good
Mitchell
slam.
Robinson. Trey lobbing.
A young lobbing, beautifully done. Just
That was just
squeezing right through.
masterful by Trey.
And you can't block that or else it's a foul.
Bench
You
this
don't want
year
that.
has been outstanding.
I mean, you look at right now, you got your
Back.
backcourt. Hadn't scored a
Brunson
lot of
looking for
points,
something here.
but you're
Just pulls
in
up.
this game.
Takes the
Brunson
challenge from
gets to his
Murray.
spot.
Puts it up anyway.
Well, you look at New York, they are all spread out on the floor.
I'm
They
loving the
looking for these
confidence from
three-point
Brunson,
shooters.
honestly. Back out to Brunson.
Brunson.
They come in to challenge him. He's still
Again.
taking the shots and doing his thing.
Jalen.
Love it.
Run out rebound. Akagwu flips to Murray.
Murray looking for something. Oh my goodness. No IQ. IQ got tripped
Akagwu
up here.
flips to
Ankles.
Murray.
It doesn't look like something crazy, but he's gonna look like he's gonna step off to the side. So he's preparing him to step to the side, as you can see. And he does do that little side step, but he cuts back here. He's going to try to squeeze in here. He thinks it's going to be a little bit sharper, and he ends up stumbling right there. See, lost his footing. He ends up coming in. Boom, right here. Back in.
DJ up and in.
And there's nothing
and
Quickly
one.
could do. Quickly was losing his
Nice
foot.
boost
So he
of
lost his
energy
balance.
from
Opened up the
DeJounte
door.
Murray.
Murray gets in, and it's a foul.
74-71.
Wow.
Randall, head of steam, dunks it.
Nobody can block him coming down the lane. You don't want to do that.
Stein dishes. Randall. Good
Looking for something. Randall working
Goes back to that left
up
hand
there.
and
Gets an and
scores.
one with the
So
contact.
strong.
Wow.
Knows his way around that basket.
They're at 4 now.
Brunson.
Brunson playing the long game, feeds it back to DiVincenzo, who
scoop to the
gets
hoop.
contacted,
No,
doesn't
tip
get it, but a tip in
time.
by Hartenstein helps him a lot.
Clock under 10. Bogey. Launches. Bingo.
Not good defense from Grimes there. Grimes put his hands up thinking he was going to go up and go for a block early.
Bogey.
And Bogey just does a little jab step and goes.
Launches.
And Grimes fell for a small jab step.
Just shoot it,
And it was
Bogey.
slow,
You're
too.
on tonight.
Well, they're looking for Bogey.
As they
Trae Young
should.
getting guarded in a mismatch. Oh my
Matthews.
gosh.
He can deliver two.
Left the man
Wesley
open.
Matthews with a corner three. He's 3 for 3
How do you let
on
Wesley
threes
Matthews
as a
do that,
Hawk.
man?
Wesley Matthews.
We're only up 3. Quickly looking for something. Just takes a
Quickly
deep
letting
3.
it fly. And he hits.
He hit it.
Emmanuel
Hit it.
Quickly's third three.
Okay.
So
So
these
now
guys
it's still a
play
4-point game. It's
two
really
men
close
up
this
front.
whole game, honestly.
They slide Hart in between them.
Hart,
He
fade away.
shoots and
That's it.
scores and beat the buzzer.
Nice job. He had to put it up.
Dad played 9 seasons in the league.
Trap.
Jalen.
Open man. Jalen works his way in.
Moves up. Scores.
Gets the light. Puts a floater up
What,
before
Jalen
Hartenstein
and
can even
Bogey
come
are
up
the
with
two
contact
go-to
and
guys
attack
right
it.
now. Second in the league in fewest turnovers committed.
Still
That's
down
16.
3. Trae Young. Little.
And there's
Ooh, I like
Trae
that.
Young.
Little.
Fewest turnovers
It's like a
committed.
little stop
That's
and go.
16.
Ready to stop? Like show like you're gonna stop or whatever. Like slow down. And then boom, pick up the speed. And he gets right by Hartenstein in a mismatch again. Gets right inside, easy layup. Now they're only
Josh
down 1.
Hart. Back to Julius. Bogey's on him. A clear out for Randall. He lets
Randall,
it fly
beautifully
and hits
done.
a big three.
Working one-on-one moves here to try to break off Bogdanovich.
Josh
Hart feeds it over. Bogdanovich playing close on him.
back to Julius.
Showing like he's gonna go left.
Bogey's on him.
Goes to the right, back to the left.
Clear out for
And he's just
Josh
got
Hart. Back to Julius.
Bogdanovich biting. I'm gonna slow this down. This is actually wild. Bogdanovich, are you okay, man? Oh my gosh. I'm gonna mute this too. Watch. So he's already stuttering like he's like scared because of the little slight movement there. She's like overcompensating and prepared for it. Goes to the right. He falls for that, jumps this way, leaves a little bit of room here. So he honestly could try to work his way back in, but he's got 4.5 on the shot clock. He's cutting back to here to jab again to the right. He bites on the jab there, gets him enough separation here that he's got some space to make the shot. I love it. Then boom, he couldn't get his hand up in time. He was too early because he realized he didn't have enough distance. Randall, easy 3. Got the space, took the shot. Beautifully done.
A good open shot.
27 for
Trae
Randall. His
across
third three.
to
Trae
Conwell.
off the screen.
Young looking,
Trae moves
rolls
in.
it out to Bay. Bay
Out to
puts it up.
Sadiq. Hey,
Got lucky. That was a very lucky shot. But they're up by 3 regardless.
DeJounte.
Oh, nice.
Dancing, shooting, hitting.
Right on him. Show me this again.
DeJounte.
Move right there. Oh, yeah.
Dancing,
Mismatch and a half.
What a move
You're
by
going to do that
DeJounte
against a slow
Murray.
big.
They're slowly getting themselves back in it in the third quarter.
Brunson
And
with
good
the
things are starting to
mismatch
happen.
lay. Didn't work.
Brunson again
Went
going
with the lay.
to
Didn't
a
get it
very
there.
tough
Murray
take there.
rolls out the open man. Bogdanovich misses the 3, but the putback slam by Bay coming down the lane was too easy.
Bogey.
Let's see what Bay came from,
Very
actually.
tough
Bay is up here, so watch how he
take
moves
there.
in.
Brunson 5 of 6.
He notices it, does the right thing, gets in, squeezes by the small Hart, and gets through him. He's back behind the back to Quickly, working down the lane, just puts it up, he gets it off the
goes off the
backboard.
glass.
What a shot
They're up
there
by,
by
they're now up by
Emmanuel Quigley.
2,
Loose
Atlanta.
in the lane.
And there's
Robinson
3:58 to go.
takes it
Hart
down, saves it.
feeding it around, gives it to
for
Brunson. Brunson with the shot, gets it.
Takes it down.
I like this was a
Emmanuel
scramble.
Quigley.
That's how it happened. It was a
Loose in
scramble
the
if you're
lane.
looking for the
Robinson
ball.
stretches
Robinson
forward, takes it
gets
down.
downtime, gets to Hart. They think they were going to guard Hart, but Brunson was wide open. You want your key guy, your point guard, to take that open 3 if he's got it, and he got it here.
Saves it.
There was
Brunson
no
for three.
challenge coming in.
The lead. Timeout. Atlanta. Final
So now the
drama
Knicks have the
unfolds.
lead with that shot. They're up by
102-101.
Trey working
Gets
his
to
way
the
through the
glass.
lane,
And
splits through the
get the lead
defenders,
right back.
gets the layup. They're now up by 1. They're going back and forth with shots now.
Knicks
Now they're
have
tied
two.
here at 2:25.
Murray. Oh.
And a beautiful step back again. Randall cannot guard this.
Knicks have 2.
Dude, he stopped him. Boom. Where you going, bro? Where you going? You're on vacation. Stops him right here. Already pulling up. He's still trying to set his feet to get back up and jump back to get his hand up to try and interfere with the shot, but it's too late. The shot's already leaving his hand.
Oh, what a move on Randall. My goodness.
Well done by DeJounte Murray.
Jalen.
Now he's working inside. Rolls it out to Jalen again. Open.
For 3.
Jalen 3.
Oh, my.
Just keep
Jalen
feeding Brunson. 1 point lead here for the
Brunson.
Knicks. Coming
Gets to the
around is
baseline.
Brunson.
Kicks
Throws
it
it to
out to
Hart.
Hart.
Hart trying to work his way in. Gets a
Shoot it over
floater
Capella and hit it
up
at the
above
shot
Capella, which is kind of
buzzer.
crazy because Capella's
Second chance for
massive,
New York.
man.
45 seconds left. Brunson dishes.
Looking through.
Randall. Good.
Randall.
New York for New York.
Great movement with
45
the ball
seconds
here.
left.
Feeds it underneath. Feeds it in between here as he's coming down the lane, coming through. And he's got it. He looks like he's going to go up for something like a floater. And he doesn't do that. He's coming up high. He's getting challenged. And he just squeezes through by taking his arms like here and just moving it up like this. It's like a transition. It was beautifully done. I love the transition.
Second
You'll see it.
chance
It's
for
like
New
this.
York. 45 seconds left. Brunson dishes. Randall. Good. New York by 2.
Beautifully done. I couldn't even do that if I wanted to. 25 seconds left. They're up by 1.
Both teams over the
Need a
limit.
big shot. Brunson trying to
Jalen
get
Brunson
some more separation.
from
It
the
pulls
foul
up.
line. And a
Makes it.
New York
Money.
lead. Timeout for
Still a
Trey
3-point game, though.
As Trey is the trigger man.
Trey looking for
Quickly
something.
jumping around.
Gets
On
it out
the
to
bounce
Murray
into
with
He's
18
gonna
seconds.
move
He's just
in.
going to work inside. Gets the
He
layup
scores
done.
to cut it to 1.
114-113.
3.9,
and the Knicks are going to get the ball and secure the win this way.
And that's going to do it. New York escapes with the win.
And New York gets the win here. So that does it. New York with the victory. Let's take a look at the box score, and I'll tell you guys about this game more. So as you guys can see, it looked like it was a lot of good ball movement I was seeing from the Knicks. A couple of bad moments. It was really competitive and tight for most of the game. A couple of bad moments where I saw some mismatches that shouldn't happen, but quick view of the box score. Julius Randle, 29 points. Almost had himself a triple-double. 29, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, and a steal. Another good game from Brunson as well. 41 minutes. He was 24 points, 8 assists. Did pretty good there. His 3-ball was on point as well. 6 of 10. 3 of 5 for Randall, too. Quentin Grimes also had himself a decent game. 11 points in 29 minutes. 3 of 8 from 3. Only downside was his turnovers. He had some heavy turnovers in this one. Emmanuel quickly, I was saying, didn't look too sharp in this one. Looked a little lost defensively, which was not good. But overall, he had 20 points as well. 4 assists and a steal. 3 of 5 from 3, 6 of 11 from the field. And Hartenstein was also pretty good, honestly. 11 points, 1 steal, 4 rebounds. He was doing himself a good job. He was doing himself a favor out there. And on this side, I would say leading scorer was actually off the bench, Bogdanovich, with 28 for Atlanta. 28 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and a block. He had himself a monster game. I think it's more free throw related, though. He was 8 for 8 from the free throw line. 4 of 11 from 3 and 8 of 15 from the field. Also on the bench, Sadiq Bey did well, pretty well too. 16 points in 28 minutes. 2 of 5 from 3, 7 of 10 from the field. 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. Who else is pretty good? I would say, Jalen Johnson had himself a decent game too. 18 points, led all starters with those. 5 rebounds, 2 blocks. 3 turnovers were costly, but 4 of 4 from 3. He did not miss. Trae Young was really the bad story in all this. Same thing goes for DeJounte Murray. Trae Young, 15 points, 7 and 9 on the free throws, so 7 of his points came from free throws. Didn't make a single 3 on 4 attempts. Same goes for Murray, 0 of 3. 6 of 12 from the field. He was 13 points with 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. But yeah, this was not a easy game for the Atlanta Hawks. Their bench really kept them in this game for the most part, and a strong performance from Jalen Johnson did too. But for the Knicks, they did just enough. They did just enough to stay away from Atlanta. Good job in those final 3 minutes to keep the ball away. And just be smart with it, not waste your shots on things that didn't matter. That was a smart part. Very happy for that decision. Good game for the Knicks. They go to 6-5. Atlanta falls to 6-5. And so we go to now the other game that we have, which would be the Magic game against the Bulls.
For these two teams.
There we go. Got it. Okay, we got the Magic and Bulls. Let's pull that up as we do our other highlight review of the Magic and Bulls.
Meet again. Torrey Craig remains in the starting lineup as he has for these last 2 weeks.
Torrey Craig is going to be in the starting lineup today for the Bulls as we see the tip-off going to the Bulls' favor. Patrick Williams getting that one.
Vucevic flashes, good extra feed for light three.
Wow, that ball movement was insane already.
Let's
start here.
Williams with the Bulls have.
Starts with Levine coming across here. 13. Feeds it down inside to Vucevic, who feeds it out to Kobe White. See how the young guys are all feeding into these spots? Or where the guys are outside and inside? They completely forget about Kobe White out in the corner. White in the corner, takes the shot uncontested, gets it.
And that's why it's so important to get the ball inside, being that kind of a player, bring the ball up the floor, initiate the offense.
This way, we're looking. Big slam for Wagner.
He hasn't been doing it from outside. The Magic and the Bulls have been two of the best teams in those categories this year. Again, part of the reason that Stacey's talking about why they got better.
Franz gets it up. Let me tell you, these Magic are no joke, man. This is a different Magic team than I've seen in a while.
Williams helps defensively. They rotate it to Black. Inside Batase.
It's cold, man. Good defensive effort there to get the rebound. Lead coming through while Ingles can't challenge that.
That's that Lonzo Ball. Good job by Patrick Williams. No hesitation.
Joe Ingles still looking for something here with the Magic. Throws it across. Yo, can I ask a question? Why is he moving like a dad at a rec league? I want you to watch the way he was moving this ball. Watch Ingles.
Easy bucket for the Bulls.
It's like a dad at a rec league. Pretty crazy. But he's still, but let me tell you, he's still a baller though. Don't let that fool you. He's still a baller. Missed the layup, but they get it back on that great defensive effort, and it's a slam for Goga.
Having a nice little first half here.
Ingles lost it. Ingles with a very tough shot trying to beat.
That was a bad shot from Ingles.
Here comes Alex Caruso.
What a move by Caruso. Watch this. Slows it down, speeds it up, breaks inside here past Cole Anthony. Back in here. No defense can be stopped here. He gets the layup and in on the left side of the glass.
Back to Alex Caruso.
Well done by Caruso, honestly.
He's been so good going to the rim this year.
Drummond, good movement. I don't care how old Drummond is. He still makes some great plays, man. Still does. Good read going in. Wagner.
Low scoring opening quarter. Both teams shooting under 30%.
Set the pick perfectly. Open up some space for Caruso to take a three. Gives them back the lead. 20.
The Bulls and Magic both struggling. A combined 1 for 21 from 3 so far. The Magic are a low-volume three-point shooting team. There's Wagner. This is where they're at their best.
There's their and one right there. Look at this one working inside. That looks like a foul on Carter for a reach-in. Either him or Caruso, one of them got called for it.
There's Wagner. This is where they're at their best.
It's an and one, and they got a 6-point lead.
Anthony.
The recognition I'm seeing is what's blowing my mind. The way they got a great connection on the floor and great recognition, it's just really working. And Cole Anthony's coming into his own here on this team. He really is.
Here in this second quarter. Originally drafted by the Bulls and traded
Magic are up big here.
2014.
Wagner gets it up off the glass, couldn't get it, but a big, great putback by Isaac.
Here's Anthony.
Good shot by Anthony. Oh my goodness.
Giving them a nice boost.
He's really emerging as his own type of player here on this team. Coming and working on Kobe. Watch this. Go back forth, in and out. Boom. Cuts down this way, inside shoulder. He thinks he's got the defense here. He leans into his body to kind of engage the contact. No push off there. He keeps going. He's doing a good job of holding his footing here. But the elevation here is what gets him. He elevates and comes back. A great job, honestly.
He's got double digits now. There's Levine. Keeps the pivot.
Levine takes a shot. Doesn't get it. Ooh, and the great tip in there.
Somewhere around that basketball.
Tip in by Torrey Craig.
Mo Wagner trying to draw a foul on Vucevic.
But Wagner could not get it that time. My goodness, man.
Mo Wagner trying to draw.
I don't care what his size is. Cole Anthony's a dog, man. Look at this. Gets the rebound. Gets it up there, man. Somehow squeezes between Vucevic and White, who are both bigger than him. And he gets it up there. That's actually insane. Isaac with the rebound. Back to Cole. Bad shot there. You gave him a little bit of room. You gave him too much room. Watch. Boom. He's fakes to come in this way. Dribbles back this way. Pulls up right here. And there's nothing this guy could do to try to beat that contact. Patrick Williams cannot make up that ground.
He's got 14 points in the quarter.
Oh, Wendell looks very comfortable in that hoodie right there.
Good gun, man.
Pajamas on.
Good shot. Good shot. Good moves.
Patrick Williams.
Definitely.
Oh, Wendell looks very comfortable in that
Williams still trying to find something except for he can get past Paolo. He does. Elevates on Goga. That's the mismatch you want, because Goga as a defender is not as strong as people want to believe. Almost kicked the ball there, Cole. Alex gets a backfill. And a big rollout, knowing he couldn't get the ball back, went back to Levine in the open corner. Great job. Great recognition and read, too. They're still down 12, but they can make it up. There's a lot of time left in this one.
Now back to your point,
Paulo working up. And late. Oh, yeah, didn't get it. Goga with the rebound. And they were, I guess they were waiting for a foul there? They didn't get it. Goga gets the rebound. They're just sitting there like, oh, we can't really touch it.
More second chance points. Vucevic working on Batadze.
Goga Batadze did not do too great on this one, though, on the defense side. Remember I said he was, like, not great defensively? You're seeing it here. Vucevic using his veteran knowledge to really get past here. He's trying to rotate him in here, and he's fighting, and he's following him in. So when he decides to turn around and spin, Goga's weight's displaced, and he's facing off on the side. So because of that, when he spins around, his weight's going to carry him off to the side, which creates an opening for him to get the layup on the glass. So great work there from Vucevic to use that veteran technique on him.
What was your 40 time? 2 weeks?
About 13. It was a fortnight. My 40 time was a fortnight.
Oh, my goodness. Good
Cheryl trying to feed it in.
Anthony Black, smart
Black got it, though. Wow.
Black matched up on Levine. Vucevic working hard against Batadze. They get it to him.
Good hook shot. Good hook shot.
Guys going to play hard than guys who don't want to play hard.
Black looking for something.
Casey talked about it right at the top of the broadcast.
Good leg.
Black starts the half with a pair. Rumors surrounding them,
the
trade talks, all that. But they've said the right things, right? Zach Levine said, my job is to be a professional. There's good
oh, that was a bad one. Black
right
cuts right across and forgets his man.
Right? Zach Levine said.
So Levine goes in there, and Black changes his mind and tries to follow him. You see it? And that's actually ties up Paulo, who can't come across and make a play on Patrick. Comes up and gets the slam. That was bad, man. That was bad movement from Anthony Black to panic for the moment. It's a young man's mistake. That's a mistake that a young player makes. Trying to feed in, doesn't get it. Craig with an M1 because of the contact.
That's one of those, like, I missed that first one.
Not free. Loose on the deck. Williams and White are both there. Good hustle.
Oh! Craig's in, and there's no foul there.
Kobe White hustling and Patrick Williams getting on the floor.
Goga looking for something, gives it back to Suggs. Gives it back to Goga with the slam.
He's done that a couple times tonight on the roll.
Not bad. Not bad. Needs it back in. Cuts back. Open man. Easy for Paolo. Montero. Vucevic, man, I tell you, I don't care how old he gets, man. He's a constant bucket. Wherever you use him, he's that guy. He's going to give you whatever you need on that team. Whatever team you put him on. Loses that one. Rebound was to Goga, who feeds it back into Black and gets it across the Suggs. And it's open, uncovered. Levine trying to make up the ground, but he couldn't do so.
30 feet away should have been a steal.
Back to Suggs. Suggs with some space and time because the Goga's setting up a pick there.
How do you kind of connect these dots in your head
Good.
and be able to apply it on the floor?
Well, the NBA is so switch heavy. You know, it's not just the ball. Good plays.
Good move. Good alley.
Some teams need to get back to guarding your man.
They still got a
Like,
good
stay on your
sizable
man. Let's
lead
see
on
what we
these
can do
goals.
that
It's about
way.
16 points
There's
here.
another switch.
And that shot by Engels makes it almost 20. And Carroll misses rebound by
It was down 18.
Zach. Shots up. Working his way down across the middle. Shoot up. Beautiful.
Drive three.
I want to look at that one again. Beautiful bait in too. I love it. Cole Anthony here. This one trying to work his way through. Because he's got Alex and Vucevic tailing him. Technically he's got a man over here because the blocking is heavy here. He can't really go and get a pass across. He's got two options. He could either go out to Harris or he can go to Banchero. Banchero would be riskier because even though Levine's coming across this way, he can still reach his arm out if you're going this way because you have to come closer in this way to kind of get the pass off. When you're going out to Harris, you have to go more straight here, so he can't really block that. He can block this, he can't block that. So his decision was to go to Harris instead of Banchero, as the lane was getting closed up here too. So by bringing in Levine, he gets it out to Harris, who now has open space to take the shot. It's beautifully done.
Drive three. Throws teams off when defenses don't switch against them.
Listen, we thought nice move.
Easy job there, man.
Harris is a big
I gotta tell you, I really am impressed with some of the things I'm seeing. I really am.
Trying to counteract the Bulls' quick guards. Harris with a nice drive.
I'm telling you, this Magic team's something special. I like him a
Here
lot.
is Franz. Knifing it sideways. So good. Working in the
Great
paint.
work by Wagner there.
Dosumu driving, kicking. That's a three for
Javon Carter, that's a three you should have, man. Gives it back to Carter again. Redemption shot in the corner, takes it, gets it. The Bulls are within 10. They're making their comeback here. Defensively, they're making young mistakes. They got to be smart here. Wagner with this shot gets it. Beautifully done. And executed. 6.5, almost 6.5 to go. Drummond, beautiful. Alley was great. And the ball is stolen. Drummond loses it. Suggs looking. He's got to reassess. I see where he's going. He's throwing it across to Goga, isn't he? Based off the way he's holding that ball, it looks like it's going to Goga. Yep. Splits right behind, squeezes behind Williams, and that opens it up for an easy two.
He recognized that Drummond was not in.
Levine, easy three. Go back again.
The guard is going to be.
Coming across, beautiful pick, good beautiful screen set. Nice job. Now the Bulls are within 5.
This is a clutch game
Was that a travel? Okay, there's your dribble here. So 1.
This is a clutch game now.
Wait, there was a second dribble. Okay, I'm sorry, I thought it was crazy. Let's slow it down. I don't know why I thought there was what's it called? I don't know why I thought that he was. I don't know why I thought there was a double here. We muted. My bad. 1, 2, 3. I thought it was crazy. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's a travel. I'm shocked there's no call. Okay. So no call on that one. That should have been a travel. Was not called. But I guess we let it fly. Refs
His
can't be
second
perfect.
basket tonight, 2 of 10 from the floor, 11 points, 8 rebounds for
Russo
Mansell.
coming across.
Caruso with a tough reverse.
Underneath. Gets it.
What a play by Alex Caruso.
Into Vucevic.
Within 3.
It's Levine.
Levine up. Gets it. Wow. With 7.5. With 7.5 to go. How did the Magic do this then? Wait. Did he get it or did Isaac tip it? Oh my gosh, they really trapped him and they left the lane for him to spin. I just noticed that. Let's see if you guys did too. He's coming in here, right? Vucevic is jumping into this space here to block it. Levine's trying to block him and trap him here. He's going to spin around as he's coming in to block this space, which gives him the room. Right here. Elevate and spin for your shot. He's not ready for it. Gets it up. Bounces. Yeah, it's Banchero's shot. Isaac didn't tip it. We're 2 minutes, we're 2 points down with a minute and a half.
Here's Williams. Oh, too many dribbles. You got to get a shot off. And Orlando,
Williams didn't get the shot off. He dribbled the ball too much. What are you doing, man?
You got to get a shot off. And Orlando behind
Wow.
Banchero will win the game.
What a play by Banchero. Let's watch that again. I'm sorry. I got to see it again. I'm serious. What he did was ridiculous. So, a full breakdown on this final one. We got to do this. Oh, my gosh. Let's set this here. Mute it. Let's go. So, he's dribbling in. You've got many options here with 6 seconds, but you only need 2 points. You don't need a 3. So, you don't need to have to throw it out to Engels and let him risk missing it and lose and sending this to overtime. So, knowing that you've got Banchero who's really good inside and working on mid-rangers. You're working him in here. He's working one-on-one with Caruso. He's putting his shoulder and trying to get himself some room. Levine's seeing that he's going to try to take this himself. He's now got 4.5 on this clock. Vucevic sees Isaac here, but he realized he's not going to go to Isaac. He's going to try to do this himself. Here he sets his foot here. He knows he's going to rotate off. He's going to use this as his pivot to break around to take the shot. As Levine is now coming in for the trap. As he puts the foot back, he rotates. Williams tries to pick up on Isaac. You got 3.8 to go. He's got the elevation. Vucevic doesn't have what it takes to come up there. He doesn't have that same speed. Caruso tries his best to make it contested. He does too. He definitely contacts his hand, but there's no foul there. And he gets the shot off, and he actually barely got this. He really did. And as you can see, Isaac did not tip that. That is a beautiful move, honestly. The way he set his feet and everything. When his feet were set, watch. That's where he sets. So he's setting in this 2 here, and when he rotates around, his feet are going to be over here. When he takes the shot and he leaves his hand, it's going to be him facing the basket. That's insane. It's like a 180. It's a 180 shot. That's kind of crazy. 180 spin shot. And he got it. He got it because of the nice bounce off the front of the rim to the back and back in. Typical bounce shot. Really well done. Honestly, and that's going to be the game there. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Tough shot. Really is a tough shot. Nothing else you could say. It was very, very well executed. So, shout out to the Magic on the big victory there, 96-94. Let's go to the box score, shall we? As we go to the box score from yesterday's games, there were other games as well that played, but I feel like these were the ones that were, what I was told were the close ones to really watch the highlights of. Nobody told me to watch anything for Celtics. Nobody told me anything for the Suns. I did hear that Durant and Devin Booker combined for 62. I heard that. And I heard that the LeBron had another triple-double, and he set like some kind of record with it. But in terms of the way the game went for the Magic, what I love about them is that their scoring is spread out evenly, and I love it that way. For the Bulls, you don't really see that as much. So for the Magic, their leading scorer of the game was Paolo Banchero with 17 points in 33 minutes. He had a -8, which means defensive efforts weren't great, but he had 9 rebounds, 3 assists and a steal, 2 of 4 from 3. He really didn't do too great from the field, honestly, outside of his 3-point shooting, which was a little out of character for Paolo. Franz was 13 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. Didn't make a single 3 attempted, which sucks, but he was good otherwise. Goga really had the highest plus-minus of the day. He was a +6, which is crazy. 26 minutes, he had 15 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Dude was all over the place. 6 of 10 from the field, 3 of 4 from the line. Suggs had 10 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals. 4 turnovers. He's got to definitely get that fixed up. But Otherwise, he was all right. His shooting wasn't anything special, to be honest with you. He's more of just a three-point shooter guy, and he was 2 of 7. Anthony Black was the other starter of the day. 7 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. 0 for 2, 3 of 8 from the field in 27 minutes. On the bench, the most notable player of the day was Cole Anthony, who had himself a hell of a game. 16 points of his own. That also goes along with 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal. 2 of 3 from 3, 6 of 11 from the field in 22 minutes. And I also want to give a quick shout out to Jonathan Isaac. Didn't do much in the points category of 4 points, but in the defensive side, he was much better. 4.7 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Man, a +4. 2 of 2 from the free throw line, missed a 3, but he was 1 of 4 from the field. So, kudos to all of them. They played themselves a great game. In the Chicago side, take a look at this. Zach LaVine was the leading scorer with 19, as expected. 6 of 16 from the field, 4 of 7 from the 3-point line. 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. Vucevic, 17 points, 0-4 from 3, 8 of 18 from the field in 36 minutes. Had himself 9 rebounds and 3 assists and a block. He had himself a very strong game. Torrey Craig, 11 points of his own, 7 rebounds, 1 steal. Didn't make a 3. Their 3-point shooting was really the killer. Neither team was really shooting the 3 ball well, but the Bulls were pretty bad. With 27.3, that was pretty bad. That's 9 of 33 for the game. And the only guys who really made 3s in the game were LaVine, who was 4 of 7. Kobe White, who was 1 of 5. Javon Carter, who was 1 of 5. Caruso was 2 of 4. And Dosunmu, who was 1 of 3. But Alex Caruso off the bench, too. 16 points in 27 minutes. 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 block. Look at Drummond, though. Drummond, even though he was off the bench, too, did a lot in his short time. 12 minutes on the court. He had 9 points, 14 rebounds, an assist, and a steal. Kind of wild. Look back at the starters, though. The only other person who had double-digit points, I think we talked about it was Craig, Vucevic, and LaVine. Those were the main guys. And shout out also to Patrick Williams. 9 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, and 2 blocks. Good stat line for him. The most impactful guy on the Bulls for this game, according to plus-minus, was Alex Caruso with the +7. But a close one. The Bulls go down to 4-8. Magic are now 6-5. A quick standings look now at the NBA as we enter today's action. The quick look we have here. Celtics still in first place in the East at 9-2, followed by the Sixers at 8-3. In the third spot, you have a 3-way tie. In order from third to fifth, it is the Pacers, the Heat, and the Bucks, 7-4. At the sixth spot is the Knicks at 6-5, but there is a 4-way tie technically. The Knicks, Nets, Hawks, and Magic in that order are all 6-5. In the 10th spot is the Cavaliers at 5-6. That's a tie with the Raptors. In the 12th spot is the Bulls with 4-8. Charlotte's 3-7. Washington 2-9. And the Pistons are 2-10. Go to the Western Conference. The Denver Nuggets lead the way at 9-2. Half game behind them is the Dallas Mavericks. And a full game behind the Nuggets is actually the Timberwolves at 8-3 with 1 game back. The Rockets 6-3, 2 games back. Thunder right behind them, also 2 games back at 7-4. The Kings are 6-4, which puts them at 2.5 back. Warriors are 6-6, which ties them with the Lakers for the 7 and 8 spot. In the 9th spot is the Suns, tied with the Jazz at 5-6, 9-10. Utah Jazz is 11 at 4-7. Clippers are 12 at 3-7. The Spurs and the Blazers are tied at 13 at 3-8. And in the final spot, the worst team in the Western Conference, the Memphis Grizzlies. Tonight's games, and this is how we'll close out. We'll talk about the games for tonight that you guys can keep an eye on, whatever you want to bet, whatever you want to watch. You guys tell me. As you see on the bottom, Brooklyn, Miami, 6-5, 7-4, 7:30 Eastern on NBA TV. Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Golden State Warriors, 10 o'clock on NBA TV. NHL, the Red Wings, the Senators, 2 o'clock Eastern, NHL Network. That is the Sweden series. As part of their global series, they're going to be playing games across the globe. They're playing in Stockholm, Sweden today. Yeah, I know. It's very interesting, very out of character, but that's how it is. 7 o'clock Eastern today also. The Golden Knights, one of the hottest teams in hockey, taking on the Canadiens in Montreal at the Bell Center. That'll be 7 o'clock. Again, I'm not going to give you guys the local channels. I'm going to stop doing local channels. I'm going to tell you guys where you can watch them, just probably what's most reasonable and easy for everybody. ESPN Plus, or whatever you guys want to do, the unofficial streaming sites, if you guys know what I mean by that. I could link you to some, but I don't want to get copyright stuff going on. If you're hearing a dog barking, that is my dog, probably seeing somebody playing security. 7 o'clock Eastern, ESPN Plus. Devils Penguins tonight as well. That'll be in Pittsburgh at the PPG Paints Arena, 7 o'clock Eastern, ESPN Plus. The Arizona Coyotes and the Columbus Blue Jackets tonight at the Nationwide Arena in Columbus, Ohio, 7 Eastern, ESPN Plus, or NHL, I believe PP's Power Play. So NHL Double P is Power Play. So that, I believe that's one of the streaming services you can, one of the packages you can buy on your TV to get access to all NHL games. I believe that's something you could do. Or you can just get ESPN Plus and watch every game. 8 o'clock Eastern on ESPN Plus and Hulu at the United Center in Chicago. It's the Lightning versus the Blackhawks. 9 o'clock Eastern on Power Play and ESPN Plus in Calgary at the Scotiabank Saddledome. It is the Vancouver Canucks and the Calgary Flames. The Canucks being a surprising team this year at a 12-3-1 really hot start. 10 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Plus and the NHL Power Play. In Seattle, Washington at the Climate Pledge Arena, it is the New York Islanders taking on the Seattle Kraken. Kraken off to a slow start this year. Way different than they performed last year. Let's see if they can wake themselves up. And to close out the night, you also have at 10:30 Eastern, you have the Blues and the Sharks. This will be in San Jose at the SAP Center at San Jose. San Jose looking like a terrible team this year. 2-13-1 at this point means their season's practically over. The Blues, on the other hand, playing great hockey right now. 8-5-1. That's 10:30 again Eastern on ESPN Plus and NHL Power Play. And the other game I forgot to mention, the Florida Panthers and the LA Kings. Going to be in LA at the Crypto.com Arena. Kings 8-3-3 and the Panthers 10-4-1. Panthers had a slow start. They finally woken up, led by the man Sam Reinhart, up against the Kings, whose best player really has been Kemp. But as I should have probably gave this for every team. But Red Wings and Senators, Dylan Larkin leading the way for them. Stutzel leading for Ottawa. Golden Knights Canadians, it is Carlson and Caulfield. Devils Penguins, it's Jesper Bratt and Sidney Crosby. For Coyotes Blue Jackets, it's Keller and Jenner. For Lightning Blackhawks, it's Kucherov and Bedard, the rookie sensation. Canucks and Flames, you got JT Miller and Nazem Kadri. Islanders Kraken, it's Dobson and Dunn. And for Blue Sharks, it is Hurdle and Thomas. So that is the complete overview of the games today. All the full slates for the NBA and the NHL. And for the NFL game tonight, you guys already know, 8:15 p.m. Eastern on Prime Video. Or again, the special streaming sites that nobody wants to tell you about. I could link them again, but I really don't want to give it away. I'll try to do something kind of subtle to kind of give it away if you guys aren't going to be home and you want to watch the game. So if you want to watch any of these games, you want to do multi-view, I have a site that I could give you. That'll take care of it for you. It's again, don't share this with anyone. I'm showing this on the webcam once, and I'm only holding it. Well, no, I'm gonna rewrite it. It looks really hard to see. So I'm gonna just write this in bold so you guys can kind of see it. So you guys know and can read it legibly about what it is. So I'm going to show it for 5 seconds. If you guys don't have any access to this stuff, you want to see the regional games, use this site. This site never fails. Promise you. I'll do it one more time. I know it's really hard to see, but it says stream and a direction on a compass. Example. What coast is New York on? The East Coast. So stream and that direction I just indirectly said. Look that up on Google or whatever browser you have, and you'll probably find the page that will give you all the games access. It's perfectly fine. That's what I do sometimes if I don't have access to things. I don't have Sunday Ticket. I haven't had to pay for it because I have this site, so thank God for them. You can screencast it to your TV too off your mobile device or your laptop, and boom. You can watch the games right there like it's on your TV. It's beautiful. So again, that's the site I tell you to watch if you want to watch any of these games and you don't want to have to pay for any services. Just a little heads up. But again, you didn't hear from me. You didn't hear it from me. But with that, that's going to do it for us today here on the Brian Mansell Show. But as we always like to do at the end of every show, we like to go over some little tiny sports news to give credit all the way around the leagues. In the Premier Lacrosse League, there was news about an expansion. They're expanding their teams now, that they're going to put them in more cities, which is actually incredible that they're going to pull this off. Supposedly they're adding a new team. They added the Denver Outlaws this past year. And they've decided they're going to add more teams. Let's see. Actually, let me confirm this. Let me confirm it. I think they did add a new team. I'm pretty sure they did. I heard something about Premier Lacrosse League adding somebody new. In the other term, we have the Megan Rapinoe news. She has played her final game. She got hurt in the first 5 minutes. Blamed it on the she was all she said is that, if there is a God, me getting hurt shows no proof of there being a God, which, I have my thoughts. I'm not going to share those out loud, but it was definitely not something I was expecting from her. Okay, so they did reveal, so what happened is they added a new team. It is the Denver Outlaws. That is a new Premier Lacrosse League team. So keep an eye out for that. We have new cities this year. 8 teams total now for the Lacrosse League this year. For this coming season. And lacrosse is actually a quickly growing sport, so don't be surprised by that. They're growing very quickly. So I believe the home cities this year for the teams, it is the Boston Cannons, the California Redwoods, the Carolina Chaos, Denver Outlaws, Maryland Whipsnakes, New York Atlas, Philadelphia Water Dogs, and the Utah Archers. Those are the 8 teams that you're going to have now for the Premier Lacrosse League. They have done some great work out there, so shout out to them on just making things so much better. Let's add in some other stuff. College football, we really shouldn't talk about much except for about the Jim Harbaugh stuff. That's really it. We'll talk more about it tomorrow morning for the morning show. We'll save it for then. We're going to try to do that one at 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to try to do that earlier tomorrow. The XFL, any updates there? Let us check. There is no XFL update. Let's take a look in the soccer world. Is there any update in soccer? It's looking like nothing right now I've got for soccer. Let's add in something else special. College basketball has started. And things have been getting pretty interesting over there. Some pretty interesting developments so far through the first week of action. We've seen some real good teams play already. We're like 3 games deep in some areas. If you're going off the standings rankings, what I find very interesting is that some of these teams are ranked way too high and some of them are ranked way too low. It's interesting. So we're going into week 2. Kansas proved themselves to be a strong team, so Kansas is still number 1. Duke has fallen down to number 9 after a rough loss they had. And also some big losses for Michigan State, who I believe they took a really embarrassing loss to James Madison, and now they've lost to Duke as well. So they're in a bad shape right now. They got to get themselves straightened out. Texas also has dropped out a little bit, same with North Carolina, but they haven't lost yet. Everybody in the top 25 is not registered a loss outside of Michigan and Duke. Michigan State and Duke. That's it. Top 4 is pretty much as nobody expected, but should have expected. Kansas, Purdue, Arizona, and Marquette. And UConn is at number 5, the champion from last year. So again, college basketball getting interesting in the men's side. Let's see if the women's side has gotten anything else interesting. Let's go to their rankings. I know a lot of people don't really care for the women's basketball. We're going to make this real quick. Because, again, every sport deserves their credit and recognition. LSU taking a hard fall. They're down to number 7. UConn at number 8. Virginia Tech at number 9. All taking serious losses. Top teams right now are South Carolina, Iowa, UCLA, Utah, and Colorado, the Buffaloes, all in the top 5. They have played some great basketball lately, so full credit to them. Other teams that took some rough losses, man. We got to include Ohio State in this one. The Tennessee Lady Vols, Notre Dame, Indiana, the Hoosiers, Maryland Terrapins, Lady Terrapins, that is, and the Ole Miss Rebels. They all have taken losses, still in the top 25, but they have really fallen. They've had a hard time. So that's something to note with them. I think it's mostly just chemistry issues with them at the moment. I believe in the boxing world, there's not much to talk about outside of the fact that Ngannou got ranked by the WBC after his loss to Tyson Fury. which they have now ranked him number 10 in the heavyweight division after the loss he took, which is actually pretty good. Can't lie to you. Let's see if I can add anything else. In the golf world, I think I wanted to talk about something crazy. Let's see. There we go. That's what it was. The Ladies Pro Golf Association announced that they were going to have $116 million in prize money on their 2024 schedule, as they're getting more and more money invested into their sport as well. So congratulations to them. They really deserve it. They are actually very fun to watch. Let's also add in, there's also a story about a roof collapse that happened at the Woods McElroy TGL virtual golf venue. Apparently their simulator golf league has been delayed now because of an overnight power outage that caused deflation and damage to the air-supported dome of the Florida-based venue. There's a whole story there. Let's also add in MMA, anything MMA related. Nothing in the MMA relation except for the UFC announcing they're going to hold an event at the Sphere in 2024, which is, I guess, impressive to talk about. In the tennis realm, we have nothing except for 5 players being banned for a tie for a link to match-fixing syndicate. But they were all low-ranked players, 4 from Mexico, 1 from Guatemala. Let's also add in some other news. Let's take a look at cricket. Anything going on in the cricket world? So it's looking like Australia beat Saudi Arabia in a thriller to enter their 8th ODI World Cup final. Congrats to them. Great work there. Let's also add in horse racing, because why not? We have no recent stories on that for today. Let's talk about some NASCAR. Anything crazy for NASCAR? Yep, we have one little thing. I want to just say my condolences to longtime NASCAR announcer and broadcaster Ken Squire. He passed away officially today at the age of 88. That was in Waterbury, Vermont. He never sat behind the wheel of a stock car. He did contribute to the growth of NASCAR as much as any competitor ever did. He was a superb storyteller's voice of the soundtrack to many of NASCAR's greatest moments. So all the growth you've seen from NASCAR can be attributed to him and how he used to call the races. So, again, he will be missed dearly by everybody. In the WNBA, I'm reading through everything else. The WNBA wants to expand to Portland. Apparently, they have now put that on hold for now. Supposedly, it is because their bid has been deferred after it was previously emerged as the likely candidate for the next team for the league. They were believed to be on its way to joining Golden State as an expansion franchise, but plans hadn't been finalized. So it looks like Golden State is proceeding to be the next team in the WNBA, but Portland's decision is yet to be determined. Let's also talk about WWE real quick. They have officially combined under the TKO umbrella. But it's also important to note that apparently there's some interesting things developing right now. Tomorrow night is Friday Night SmackDown, so keep an eye out for that. There's some storylines developing for Survivor Series, possible rumors of a new wrestler coming back from injury, Randy Orton, and that he will make his return and join this crew. Keep an eye out for that. That's something to definitely watch. And also some storylines involving Santo Escobar and the Latino World Order, LWO, and Rey Mysterio, who has had surgery and is recovering currently, so he'll be out of the roster for a while. Let's see. Anything else? Formula One. Anything in the Formula One area. In the Formula One realm, let's see. Justin Thomas, Carlos Sainz win the Wild Netflix Cup, apparently. That was, I believe, only a day or two ago. That was yesterday. They did break the cup, which is pretty funny. And I will also say that there's is there anything else we could talk about majorly in sports? Anything CFL related in Canadian Football League? Because again, I cover everything. I don't want to leave anything else out. Well, apparently they played football last Saturday. This Sunday they'll be having the Grey Cup. The Grey Cup is actually on a Sunday at 6 o'clock. At 6 o'clock on TSN. Winnipeg versus Montreal. The Alouettes are taking on Winnipeg. I believe Winnipeg is the Blue Bombers. It's been an interesting season for them. They're going to play this one out and see how it goes. This is for the Grey Cup. Grey Cup's one of the most prestigious in football
Okay,
as
so
a
Kenny,
whole,
the last time...
but it doesn't get enough credit for the amount of attention it brings to the sport. And finally, let's take a look at the last two here. The NBA G League. Let's see what's going on with the G League at the moment. The G League Ignite. Anything special going on today? Iowa, Wisconsin play today, as well as Texas, Osceola, Grand Rapids, Sioux Falls, and Stockton and Salt Lake City. In the current standings, Motor City Cruise, the Detroit Pistons affiliate, they're undefeated still in the Central. In the East Division, the Westchester Knicks are tied with the Long Island Nets and the College Park Skyhawks as the top teams that are still undefeated. As you guys can already guess, the Knicks and Nets teams are affiliated with their franchises. As for the College Park Skyhawks, I believe they're affiliated. Let me figure out who they're affiliated with. The College Park Skyhawks should be affiliated with somebody. Let me figure that out for you now. Affiliated with the Atlanta Hawks. I had a feeling that should have been the case. In the South Division, only one undefeated team. That is the Birmingham Squadron, which I'm going to assume is probably the Dallas Mavericks, because I saw the star. It's the New Orleans Pelicans. That should have made more sense. So the New Orleans Pelicans, affiliate, the Birmingham Squadron, are 3-0 in the South. And in the West Division, there's two teams that are undefeated. The Santa Cruz Warriors, which is, as you all know, the affiliate of Golden State. And the Ontario Clippers, 3-0, are the affiliate of the LA Clippers. So, again, a lot of things happening so far. So far, the G League Ignite has not done well. They're 0-3. They're really struggling at the moment. But that is currently the span of everything right now. That's what it looks like all around the realm of sports, not just in the main ones we were talking about, but that's everything as a whole, united. So again, that's how we close out the show every time we do a quick review of all sports. So again, thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you for sticking around for, what is it now, almost 3 hours? I appreciate all of you for sticking around for this whole time. If you guys haven't already, if you're watching this on Twitch, please consider subscribing. Not subscribing. Please consider following us on Twitch. We are one follow away from hitting 20 followers, which will help us clear our goal we're looking for to hit 20 followers. After that, it's 25 is the next goal. We want to keep growing toward one of the biggest growing sports channels on Twitch. Same thing goes for YouTube. If you've seen this on YouTube, please consider subscribing to the channel. It helps us grow the channel a lot more. We're going to be doing a lot of more sports content out of there. Again, I plan on doing this Imperialism live stream sometime soon. My idea is probably this Saturday, instead of doing what I was doing before, which was the videos and doing them individually recorded, we're just going to do them on stream live for everybody so they can see what does the Imperialism and the simulator look like as a whole and let them physically see it. So we'll take that, we'll clip them up, we'll make the VODs into the videos, and that's it. Just make it simple. So that's the plan. We'll be back here tomorrow morning. The objective is 10 a.m. And as for tonight, I need to hear from you guys real quick. I would love to get an answer. What game should we do tonight? So there's 2 NBA games, there's the football game, and there's some hockey games. What would you rather I cover tonight? And I'm going to do it based off my regional coverage that I can get on my television. So for NBA tonight, I would likely get the Nets game, which is the Nets and Heat. I could also do I can't do the 10 o'clock game because I can't be up too late if we're going to do this morning show tomorrow. So I'm thinking Nets Heat will probably be the game we do tonight if we do basketball. If we do NFL, we're obviously going to do the Ravens game. And if we do hockey, we're going to have to do more than likely the Islanders and the Kraken. It'll either have to be the Islanders and the Kraken or the Devils and the Penguins. It's one of those two, based off the regional teams. So it's up to you guys. Either it's football, basketball, or hockey tonight. One of those three is what I will cover. I'll leave it up to, you know what? I'll leave it up to my Twitter. If you guys want to follow it, my Twitter is @BAMansell or X, whatever you want to call it. That's my account. That's where I do all my sports updates. That's where I'm the most active. That's where I would follow for any updates and for the polls too, because I do polls for what content you guys want to do, what you want to see. Instagram, @TheBrianMansell Show. Follow that too. Sometimes I post updates there. And also Brian Mansell Show on YouTube. So again, thank you all for tuning in. Keep an eye out on X for the poll. But until then, until tonight, and until tomorrow morning, if you can't be here tonight, enjoy your NBA coverage. Enjoy your NHL games. Enjoy Thursday Night Football. And again, thank you all for tuning in. We will see you tonight. And if you can't make it tonight, we'll see you tomorrow morning. Have a good one, everybody.
22 to the... Right-handed guy.